Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. North American stock futures, little change to slightly higher this morning as we head towards the debut of Coinbase. It's Coinbase Day. We finally made it. We also got the earnings reporting season underway this morning with a few of the big banks. We'll talk about JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo coming up in a matter of moments. We're coming off another muted session yesterday. The S&P 500 did close at another record high, however, 0.4% to the upside. On Tuesday, we had the NASDAQ and the Dow relatively unchanged. Equities seemed to shrug off the negative news from the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The U.S. pausing, of course, administering the vaccine for the time being. Moderna shares, though, up big time on that news yesterday, more than 7%. As we mentioned, it's Coinbase Day. It's finally here. We'll talk all about the direct listing, possible $100 billion valuation coming for Coinbase. JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, as I mentioned, Goldman Sachs, and Bed Bath & Beyond. Big move to the downside here in the pre-market off of earnings. It's Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Yeah, a little change so far for North American markets. As mentioned, we are positive. The NASDAQ leading once again so far, 0.3%. The Dow and the S&P basically flat on the day so far. TSX futures here in Toronto, about 0.5% to the upside. Brazil, 0.3%. Bitcoin, yeah, back to record highs or thereabouts for Bitcoin again today, 1.5%. Yeah, big move for crude oil, 1.6%. While gold is to the downside ever so slightly. Once again, good morning, guys. It is here. It's Wednesday. It's Coinbase Day. Let's all take a breath. We'll prepare, as we should, for Coinbase direct listing coming at some point this morning. Again, no set time that this will get underway and start trading, but we will keep you up to date as far as progress goes as they prepare to get Coinbase off and running, and earnings to start anyway seem pretty positive for the banks.
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't think there's anybody out there that didn't think the banks were going to blow the numbers out of the water. So if that's what we got, you could get a bit of a muted response so far, which when everyone's expecting big things, you might not get the gigantic bump, or usually not going to get it in that particular case. But I know everyone is excited for Coinbase Day. It looks like we got our 200,000 out of the way, so we could celebrate that and then move into what is going to be a big day in the market, because this is a major direct listing. First one on the NASDAQ of the size of the stature for sure. And we saw what happened with Roblox. I mean, we don't know when this is going to open up. That's the other thing. We'll try to trade it on the show for you guys, but if we don't, it's going to be active regardless, and we'll certainly be talking about it during Power Hour when we come back at 3:15 to 4 a.m. I'm curious to hear Mark's thoughts about it, and it might be a little bit of a different trade, I do think, because as a direct listing, there's a little bit more opportunity for selling, I think, that happens off of the open of those, and so patience can be the nature of the game. First things first, we do have to get to the banks, and Tesla is getting close to 800. Sean, and there's a lot of names that are up today, but that one creeping up to the round number, and one of yours right on yesterday's high, almost to the penny.
Yeah, Palantir. I'm just getting the sticky note out right now because everyone's asking for it. There it is. We just tweeted it out. You can get that sticky note right now. But yeah, look, Palantir. I mean, I have QS up right now, but that was amazing yesterday. If you didn't join us for the afternoon show, Neil and I both hit this thing through 25. It was just a fantastic run, and yeah, I mean, if you're watching the afternoon, it went off. Demo day today, there's going to be demonstrating Foundry, showing how that can be applied into new programs, new companies, new businesses. I mean, Palantir is the thing of the future, if not the current. It's data, it's security, it's read about Palantir. I like it through this high, the day 25.65. We'll see if we get some pullbacks into 25 and a quarter though. But Palantir, yeah, on radar today, and then of course Coinbase is on the NASDAQ. So we don't have anything here listed for it on the imbalance, but we do have NEO. We've traded that a lot lately. Palantir's on there. 10-cent music's always on here from the hedge fund, and then Best Buy, 113,000 to sell. We talked about that one when it was up at 950, and I was giving it thumbs down. So down to $9 again today. BlackBerry, not Best Buy. Best Buy BBY. BlackBerry today, BB, and then BBBY there. We have Bed Bath & Beyond today as well.
Yeah, NIO back to the top of the imbalance locator. Haven't seen that for a couple of days as well. We'll talk about the EV makers coming up here in a bit. Lots to get through. But before we go any further, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning, Brendan, and hi guys. I wish you a productive, profitable day. Please enjoy the show and make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Let's get it started, Brendan.
Yeah, let's get it started, guys. We'll show you the top 10 list here from Day Trade the World, how traders here fared yesterday. Some muted market action, but still lots of opportunity. The NASDAQ alone pulling out 24,700 and change yesterday. NASDAQ in New York, 22,000. Some futures action, Chicago CME, the NASDAQ New York, 15,000. So even with lower volatility and less movement overall, still lots of opportunity in this market. Sean, I hope you're okay. We'll get back over to Sean here in a second. Let's talk about Coinbase, obviously going to be the topic of discussion for the morning, guys. We had a number of people I noticed in the chat earlier talking about the market on open type idea. Just to clear things up for the record, there's obviously other people who understand that it's not going to open right at 9:30. It's similar to an IPO. They have to match off all the orders and then figure out, when it gets to a point that it's available to trade in the markets, guys. So initial thoughts here for Coinbase.
Not going to open up at 9:30. I mean, whatever. I mean, look, we have no idea when it's going to happen. And, to the point with Roblox, and we sort of talked about this a little bit, sometimes because of the different opportunity for there to be more selling in, you're not issuing shares. This is a chance for those insiders to be able to sell, depending on when this puppy opens up. And if it's that 100 billion valuation, you're looking at close to 400 with a reference price of 250. I mean, there's going to be somebody taking profit. There's a lot of institutions going to be involved in this. You had, I think, like a 1 month average in the private markets of like a 343. There's a lot of numbers being thrown out as to where this thing could open up. And if it's really, really crazy, I mean, I would expect there to be a lot of selling into it. And I want to play a bit of a patience game. Take a little something maybe on the opening print for that little momentum type of trade, because that's something we try to do here. We have the speed here at Day Trade the World, but for me, I got to be flexible. If I know that I think there's going to be a decent dip to be bought, and it's around any one of these prices that we have like a reference for, then I'll take my shot at that in Coinbase. And it's so interesting because you have so many different types of opinions on this, even from like the high-end analysts. You have some that are saying, oh, well, you should value it like PayPal. Right? And I mean, if you go out there, PayPal's what, like 300 million? So, I mean, that gets really crazy if you start thinking about numbers like that. So, and again, this is not to say that anyone is right or anyone is wrong, but I saw others saying that this stock should be worth $100 and it's going to open up. I mean, the reference price is 250. That doesn't matter with Coinbase. It could easily open at 400, it could open at 300, it could open at 500. We're not going to know until it gets closer to, but that 250 essentially, I mean, it's not meaningless because, there's some effort put into it. I don't know if it's going to matter too much, 65 billion or whatever it works out to be. And there's analysts that are north of that, 5-fold, 10-fold, and there's some that are thinking it should be cut in a third. So, and a lot of money is going to be at stake today. One thing I will say, it will be traded for sure. It's just a matter of where does it look like it's going to open. And we'll get indications of that, Sean. We'll get updates on our balance locator if it's live on the show. We'll be able to see where the price is looking like it's going to open and where some of the liquidity is going to be before it does open up. So we're not going to be completely blind going into that trade.
I mean, I just hope that it opens up on time for us. I just wrote down CCL, added that to the sticky note. I mean, you want to talk about something mooning, and right on topic with Coinbase. The Doge coins are barking today, guys. Congratulations. Like, I'm not in this one. I've been talking about Cardano, XRP, Ripple, Bitcoin, Ethereum. I still hold the most in Ethereum, and it's unbelievable, this Dogecoin here. Like, you go back to November, it was like, I mean, you're not even at 1 cent. I don't know if you guys can see it now. Yeah, you can see that, 0.004. Like, we're finally maybe getting to 1 cent. And then there we go. We got to 1 cent January 18th. And that was already like 10x. Like, you just go back to October, you're paying like under a cent, like 0.003. So 2 zeros behind the point, then a 3. Okay, so that's October. So I don't know how many percentage points this math is, but 0.0002 back to September, my birthday, all the way up now. We touched, I don't know, what was the high here? 14 cents, 14 and a half cents. So that is millionaire, billionaire row. If you just put any kind of, like, even if you put in $1,000 here, I'll figure out the math after, but this is if someone could put that in the chat, like how much, if you put $1,000, if you guys can do this actually, someone, if you put $1,000 into the chat at 0.0002 there, what would it be worth today? And that was only 6 months, you know, so a 6-month return there on Dogecoin, huge. Congratulations everybody that's been there. This is not the crypto show, but we did talk about Coinbase, and I think part of what brings us to Coinbase is the age group, are the people looking for new finance, looking to put money into new asset classes. We saw Jim Cramer yesterday called finally, like it's about time, Pokeroo, called Bitcoin a store of value. People now not hating on gold, but you're seeing the relationship, right? You put money in gold, it sits there. That's nice. You put money in Bitcoin and you're seeing what's happening. Whether or not that stays or not, who knows? But like Neil said, 100 billion valuation may come out today. PayPal 300 billion. Square, we'll find that out as well. But I mean, it could go extremely at 1.8 billion in revenues last quarter alone, and it's just getting higher. So I like Coinbase, and I think part of it is this whole push towards everybody just wanting to get crypto, and it's kind of like when Roblox IPO'd a hot stock. Now you're at the 87 or $83, IPO'd at 64. So that's a fantastic return. You see Airbnb bouncing around as well. So, I mean, some of these new companies that are coming on board, if you don't get in on the IPO, then, you're just not part of the fun. I think we do have a dip opportunity in Coinbase, but I will be taking that opening print.
All right, speaking of $1,000 investment, thanks to James Rose, brought this to our attention yesterday on Twitter, sending us this tweet from John Ehrlichman, who is an anchor at Bloomberg here in Toronto on BNN. It was Ethereum. So if you invested $1,000 5 years ago, Ethereum tops this list, actually, $273,000 it'd be worth. Bitcoin second, Shopify, Canadian company, AMD, Etsy, NVIDIA, and on. But it was interesting, guys, to see that 273 for Ethereum versus 148 for Bitcoin. That's on a 5-year investment. So that was an interesting note. Let's bring in Mark Roberts here, get his opinion on what is going to happen today. Mark Roberts, president of Sun Lake Strategies, joining us once again. Good to see you, Mark. It is a busy day, going to be an exciting one. I mean, it's hard not to talk about this, so give us your thoughts on Coinbase.
Coinbase is a stock that has to be in the portfolio. The question is how, when, and where. Obviously, if it opens at 400, I'm not a buyer, but on any meaningful dip, I would put some into the portfolio. I already own Square and PayPal and some of the others in the equity side. I never did buy Bitcoin, but Coinbase is definitely a stock I want to own.
Let's talk about how this may trade a little bit today, because it's going to be, I feel, different than ones we've seen in the past, let alone this is the first kind of major direct listing on the NASDAQ versus, those familiar ones that we've been talking about on the NYSE over the past few months. Talk about volatility here. It's been a while since we've had an IPO, first of all, open potentially around that 400 area. What could we see as far as price action?
Well, you're going to have all retail in on the opening. So that's the given part. What happens with the institutions after that is anybody's guess. We are 14 days or halfway through April. You're already starting a robust but a bit confused next quarter, and you're heavy starting into your earnings season. So you've got headwinds and tailwinds all over the place. But I think expectations are very high on earnings. People are looking for multiple and alternative asset classes, and there's your volatility.
On that note, let's talk about the banks. We had 3 of them this morning out. Give us your initial thoughts here. I mean, it seems positive, but to be expected?
Yeah, the confusion really is what are these things called? JP Morgan would be considered an institutional bank to me, but the press reports it as a retail bank because they're lending out to the public. Goldman Sachs has always been an institutional trading house, an underwriter, but they want to be a consumer bank. So I'm not sure how all of this plays out as far as its rhetoric and its conversation, but I prefer Goldman and Morgan Stanley and Citibank because of its Mexican exposure than I do JP Morgan, but they're all great companies.
Let's talk about a trade here then, possibly. You know, is there one over the other two that reported specifically today that you're kind of eyeing? And if so, where do we have a look at them?
Well, I'm very overweighted Goldman for a long, long time, so I'm going to ride this out. I think it'll make new highs. I think it's positioned itself well. It's left enough money for any conflicts and controversies on the side. So I think in general, you can stay with this whole base. Many of my cohorts have bought Wells Fargo over the years, have been finally happy with their results. I'm curious to see how Wells Fargo does. JP Morgan will dip probably $2, $3, $4 and stabilize, and Goldman will probably be up $4, $5, or $6 and stabilize.
Let's get your thoughts as well on the vaccine issues that we've been having over the past couple of days. We missed you on Monday. Obviously, we were talking about Johnson & Johnson yesterday. The news comes out. I mean, over time, does this matter at all for J&J specifically? And if so, you know, where do we look at this?
It matters little at all. I think this is a hiccup. They will be able to resolve it. AstraZeneca is a separate issue. Yes, they both created their vaccines from similar strains, but I think the J&J with a low risk, and granted, nobody wants to get blood clots, but a low risk proportion to the amount of people that have been vaccinated, I would have no problem taking the J&J.
I think there's a few people that would agree with you on that. You know, in the overall, we need, you know, as many as we can get, obviously. 6 cases, I think. There was 1 reported late in the day I saw here in Canada. I want to talk about a couple of moves that we saw yesterday in some technology firms. First off, Roblox, another, you know, recent addition to the market, popped up on this Hasbro news. What are your thoughts on Roblox here?
I would say it's, how do I phrase it? It's a company that is getting a lot of press and a lot of following. I think it's the kind of company that on any kind of dip down into that 70, well, let's call it below 80, looks like a fantastic buy. I'm starting to look at it today just because I was waiting to see those clusters at the 65-70 area to see whether they would hold.
Roblox is, hey Mark, how's it going, my good friend? You've never played on Roblox, I guess, on that platform. No, unfortunately I have young kids and they absolutely love it. So I have a screaming recommended buy on Roblox because I spent so much money on the game buying those little microtransactions that I do know how addictive it is. But let's talk about another cult stock here. And I think the biggest cult stock that I can think of, besides anything crypto related, and it sort of is crypto related, is our friend Elon Musk with Tesla. What a run, Mark, this thing has been on. It basically fell asleep here for about a week in between 700 and 670. And then all of a sudden, back on the 12th, which I guess is 2 days ago, the beginning of this week here, and a little bit last week, he got started a little bit, but 670 up to 780. That's $110 in 3 days, if not 2 days. 2 days. I mean, we're going to include today. 3 days, up $110, about 15%. What do you think is driving this Tesla, and no pun intended there, but what do you think is driving this Tesla move? And do we get more upside here? Or like we were talking about earlier on in the show, maybe tech is just too heated right now. NASDAQ's been huge. This has been a big run back for Tesla. Almost near highs. We're talking about all-time highs of 850. Any opinions here on Tesla and this recent move?
Yeah, I think you stated it very well. It's tech related. It's not Tesla related.
Right.
Nothing has dramatically changed in this space. You know the volatility of the EV sector. It's been brutal for those that have had a long-term play on them. Tesla has an interesting thing, though. The 100-day is going to cross the 50-day in the next day or two. So that may keep you above that, we'll call it the 50-day of 714.
Yep.
So I look at that 700, 714 as if it can hold that, you're in a new trading range.
Yes, no, I see that right now. That's a good point. Yeah, the 100 crossing the 50. Good look on that one. The one other stock here. Do you prefer, first of all, we'll talk about NIO first. This is another one, the Chinese car company, the EV space. It's been on equally an impressive, oh God, my daily chart's not gonna load, is it? Equally impressive run here in the last little bit. We bottomed out around $34, $35 here. Here it goes, now we're gonna load up. And it's just been a very, very nice base. Let me see if I can get a better chart for you here and for our viewers, as that daily's not working out too well. Yeah, nothing's working out too well for me. Okay, anyways, NIO, we can look at it here a little bit. It did base out 35, 36, 40. Now we're gonna be bumping up to $40. With that being said, here's a better daily chart, Mark, I apologize. Here we go here. This is a nice base. I know you have a charting platform there too, so it doesn't really matter, but the 200 period's down to 35. We dipped down to 35 there. We touched it. We've bounced off there. It's come up nicely. I know a lot of our viewers are stuck holding the bag a little bit here, like you mentioned on some of these EV names. Any opinion on Chinese EV? I'm nervous about the whole Chinese space because I don't believe Biden is handling some of this very well. We saw some of the Taiwan fighter jets again, or sorry, Chinese fighter jets heading over Taiwan again. And so I'm not a fan of Li Auto, XPeng, or NIO. Are we on board with this?
I'm on board with you 100%. But if you want to look at the chart, look at that February 24th high of 52.
Yeah.
Draw your trend line straight down. And if it can break above, we'll call it a high of, let's say, 40.
Yep.
And you keep a tight stop, I think you can get a nice trade out of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you break that 50 period at about 43.50 or so, that's a good one. Your recommendation for EV, I bought some Fisker. That's been a dump as well. We were able to get some out in the mid-20s, thank God, but I most recently bought some around 16, 17. We're down on Fisker right now. How do we play this? I know you've mentioned ETFs. Is that still where you would be putting clients in, or new money, or is there another name? Nikola's moving today?
Yeah, I think an ETF is by far the best situation. These stocks, while they are really in their third or fourth inning of a game, they're just not ready for prime time yet. You're going to get your spikes, and that's good. You get your trading, that's good. But in essence, institutions are still not, we'll call, bullish on these kind of stocks.
So I guess Drive is more autonomous, but that's up near $28, $29. But yeah, I agree. Let's spread out the risk here on some of these companies and get into ETFs. We haven't really been able to find a winner. And I think when a winner, shows its face, you'll be able to see it. And I think that'll be true in the market. Give us one name, Mark, maybe that we haven't talked about. You're getting a lot of credit for a lot of the different names that you've given here on the show lately. And there are a lot of, odder names that then we'll talk about. So is there something that you like here, maybe heading into earnings season, or something on another plane that you like here?
I've been long LUV, ALK, and JetBlue. They're all getting upgraded again today.
Yep.
I stay long those. I've made a tremendous amount of money on them.
Yeah, so Southwest, I guess, is that because of the exposure that they have in the U.S.? It looks like the U.S. is going to be obviously the one that's reopening faster, and domestic flights seem to be getting the thumbs up from the FAA. That's
exactly the story. Disney's been disappointing.
Yeah. So
I'm still looking for my re-entry trades, but those airlines have been probably my best winners so far.
Okay, yeah, as I'm looking here at the chart, Mark, wow, congratulations. Southwest down even in August, man, $34, $35, $36, and we're looking at a double. Mark Roberts from Sun Lake Strategies, thank you so much for all of the names again and everything that you've talked about. We hit a couple good things there. And good luck if you take the Coinbase Open. I'm going to be taking that with my fingers crossed. Mark Roberts, Sun Lake Strategies, have a good one, my friend.
Have a great day.
Thanks, bye.
All right, guys, yeah, right on cue. Mark was just mentioning there's more, just these two on the board this morning, but all the airlines Getting an upgrade today. JP Morgan liking Southwest and Spirit as well. Lowe's on here getting an upgrade today, and ExxonMobil. Nothing terribly exciting outside of Facebook getting a downgrade today, guys.
I don't wonder if that has to do something with the tech wreck. Well, not tech wreck, but the big moves that you've seen in tech, and maybe a little bit of rotation could come back. Earnings season comes around. I'm watching this Galt take the top, try to take the top off. So I have to watch that position, pre-market position, in that one to the short side. It's right at that high of the day, 290. Look, I mean, when you get to the highs that Facebook has put in, and you look at the daily chart, and it's been a fantastic run. I know Sean's been all over it here. A lot of times you might start to get that little downgrade action, especially when you expect market rotation. I just feel like there's this weird sense that, okay, you get Coinbase today, you've got Bitcoin all-time highs, you've got tech that just made that bounce back. You had bounces from the bottom on things like Zoom and some of those stay-at-home names. A lot of the high flyers have finally caught some bids. And there's this exuberance. We're at 41.3 in the S&P. I mean, the NASDAQ is pushing highs as well. And this could be that point where, I don't know, at some point you think there's going to be like a healthy pullback. And I don't wonder if like something that is exciting as Coinbase and the money that's going to get thrown at it today is maybe the start of something like that. And then, you know, rounding out at Facebook and sort of pushing through the high, consolidating here, and then this is what you'd maybe get that sort of downgrade look on the action there. Who knows? That's just my personal take. I think there's at some point coming, and it feels like it could be a little bit soon, some kind of a pullback happening. I don't know if this is the start of it. You look at where some of these stocks are in these levels, and it's hard to not see that. And I think it would be a good thing in a bull. You want to get some healthy pullbacks, like some slow grinds back to the downside, pick some shares up. But that's just my personal thought. I mean, I don't know that you're essentially buying Facebook today. If you haven't already, you're probably burned. And Mark mentioned LUV. We'll talk a little bit about the airlines, but I think it was AAL. There was just a news story that had come out 15 or so minutes ago, guys. American Airlines expect to be 90% of its domestic capacity compared to summer 2019. They had a little bit of a bump here. Only went like 25, 30 cents, but AAL showing some weakness yesterday. I was shorting that and going long over in Southwest, and I think today it might be a bit. Sorry, in Spirit today might be a bit of a different story. Some strength in AAL.
We don't have Carnival on our watch list, but we are going to get to the watch list in a minute. And I want to thank Mark Roberts. That was a good talk there about some of the names. I hope I hit them for you. I know you guys are looking at Tesla and NIO, so we wanted to. I wanted to, anyways, bring that up, and I didn't have any notes for that. So that was a good one, and I'm so glad that we're able to have Mark come through, the stock father, as he's been coined. I think it was Marlin. I'm not sure who coined that, but that was a good name from the chat. I just wrote down 2750 on CCL. Again, this is negative news about J&J, negative news about the reopening. I think they're moot points, but it doesn't matter what I think. It's about what the market thinks. So we'll wait to see what happens here around 27.50. I'm always looking out for Daryl here as well. But 28 yesterday did hold Daryl on part of our chat there, part of our team. What's up to Daryl? Yesterday we did talk about it a little bit, and we talked about it up here at 29, coming back down, looking to see what happened here at 28. It resisted that bump right there at 28.05, and then we were just basically trading below 28 all day. And then now today looks like we're going to retest that 28 as well. Well, you can see right now we are at 28. So we're retesting that level. We'll see if it can hold. I like the short here in CCL, but we're going to wait to see what the market brings it as. Quick check on the imbalance. Neo, Palantir. That's about it. I mean, we have J&J there that we would probably trade today. GE we're always looking at. I didn't get a chance to ask Mark about Barrick Gold, but I heard what he said about gold. And the thing is if you're a believer in gold, I think this is a time where we've crossed the 50 period. Barrick Gold down a hell of a lot for considering it's a gold stock. You don't get really these kind of moves too often, and you can just look at spot gold if you wanted to. But I think Barrick with a dividend, this bottom's probably pretty solid now at 1950. So if you wanted to add some gold into your portfolio, I don't, but if you did, I do think that Barrick here is also a buy at 21.
All right, guys, let's have a look at the overall market. We'll bring Arun in here and get a chat on the futures this morning. Back in this range again, Arun, is there anything changed really since the past couple of days?
Well, yesterday was quite the move, right? We got that 830 CPI number, which kind of shook the market a little bit, went down quickly, and then spun right back around within seconds and took out, and we never lost that momentum to the upside. So we took out that high there from 4130. That's what I was looking at yesterday. I said if we had a setup on the short side, we could potentially take a shot. It did set up. So unfortunately, there was a loss there. But the flip side of that trade is still available, or was available. 41.30 long, you got about 10 points if you were able to get out in front of 40. But the fact that we backed out towards the end of the day, which has been quite the strongest part of the day for the last week and a half or so. So the fact that we backed out from 41.40, which kind of makes me wonder what's happening overnight, because now we're kind of stalling again. Once we got through that, once we got close enough to that 41.40, we're backing out again, and you see the momentum coming back down towards the 41.30 area. Now, here's the issue. If we can get into the 41.30, there could potentially be a long, but if we break the 41.40, I'm not sure if we can actually just jump on that breakout right away. So I'm not going to be jumping on that breakout. I feel like that 41.40 area is building up a decent amount of sell side activity. There might be a little bit of flexibility there. So I'm going to go ahead and look at 41.50 as the next potential breakout point. So if we get into the 41.30s, if we can get underneath all the way down through 15s into the 20 area, 41.20, 41.15, that's a little bit of flexibility depending on how we move, how much volume we get. There's a little bit of conditional activity that you got to look at there. But the bottom end of that was 41.15. So anywhere from 41.30 going down to 41.15, I think you have a potential for a long. Again, momentum is to the sell side. There is some sell side activity building up near the high of yesterday and overnight, which is around 41.40. So you do have to be aware, or you have to think about how we've been moving for the last little bit. It's been kind of straight up, right? We've been kind of going up, going sideways, breaking out, going up, and then it's been always towards the end of the day, we've been getting this huge push. Now, we did try it at the end of the day yesterday, wasn't as strong. So it just makes me wonder how much is left in this tank here for us to keep on going up before we get at least some sort of a sell-off. I'm still open to the long. I just want to be careful on the conditions I take it inside of. I am aware of the sell side activity above us, but at the same time, I'm open to the idea. I just want to make sure that we are going to get that kind of support below this 41.30 if the long is going to set up there.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Guys, under 30 minutes to go before we get the market underway for a Wednesday. If you haven't done so already, I'll show you this. Make sure you head over to that link and sign up for the absolutely free to you watch list every single morning. We put all the stocks on there that are making significant news every single morning and talk a little bit about why they are doing that. So if you haven't done so, Valeria will help you out in the chat with that link if you do need it. Yeah, it's all about Coinbase, guys. I mean, some impressive numbers came out. I think it was April 6th. Yeah, April 6th, they were talking about their financials before this debut. I mean, 6.1 million monthly transactions, 56 million verified users, 1.8 billion. I mean, it doesn't matter which one you talk about. It's pretty impressive.
The funny thing is, well, I don't know if it's funny, but the interesting thing is they're not even the biggest. So what does that tell you about Binance? I mean, I don't know. Look, the numbers are going to be impressive. And I know everyone's going to stick to trying to and you hear people talking about, whoops, that's actually CCL, but I was going to get to that in a second. But we're not going to have any charts to show for Coinbase, obviously. But you start to think about some of those numbers out there, and I don't know that they're going to matter too much to the actual opening trade. If you want to start thinking about revenue, price per revenue and ratios like that, I mean, I don't know. I've seen analysts throw those numbers out, but then the ranges are so big on top to bottom of what the expectations are that I don't, for this day trade, I just don't see it. From a long-term standpoint, I mean, it would make some sense in the mid 300s, I would suppose, but I just don't see it opening up. I don't see it opening up there. I think there's a really good chance that we're opening at $400 today, and then you start throwing all those metrics out the window at that point, and you're just playing into momentum. And I just think when you come back to Roblox, and this is not the best corollary in the world, but there isn't going to be a fantastic one. Roblox had sort of a precipitous dip at the open. And if you sort of just bought that 65 area open, you're holding all the way through to 60. So it was near a 10% drop. And that's sort of what I would be prepared to have happen on Coinbase today, where you just play the patience game. Sure, is that chance at the open trade you get that little pop? Obviously, and that's a play that's worthwhile. But if it extends too far, maybe we do get like a 400 open, and just tell yourself, okay, like 350, 360, maybe just wait for it. And if it drops like near 10%, maybe buy a bit of a dip like that. And I'm just thinking that's a plan of action which makes some sense to me based on where it seems like this might open with all the open interest that everyone cares about here. So patience could be the nature of the game. If you were watching or trading Roblox, then I think you definitely learned that lesson. Not that it's a perfect corollary, but it's as close as we're going to get to it in a recent stance. I mean, there hasn't been anything quite like Coinbase that's come to market here. So again, it's going to be a fantastic learning experience for everybody, and I think it's going to be a heck of a trade.
Yeah, let's. I just checked the Coinbase app there, and yeah, Dogecoin not even on or supported by Coinbase. So can you imagine if they started listing that thing, how high Dogecoin can go? But yeah, look, Square. I mean, just the run that a lot of these names have been on. I'm hoping this is going to be a good thing for PaySafe, PSFE today. Look, I mean, it's a financial. They're all related to some extent. Every single name is pretty much in crypto nowadays. Companies putting them on their balance sheet. People, I mean, there's singular companies, MicroStrategy that are just Bitcoin companies as well. So look, down here, I prefer Square and PayPal, but I've already made PayPal was my call of 2020. So that's already tripled for a big cap, which is pretty good. Square, we were buying that all the way down, and now we're back to all-time highs on Square as well. So I think there's better trades than Coinbase, but yeah, I'm long. I'm going long on COIN. Why didn't that work? Coinbase here, you can see what it looks like on our screen right now. These are just the bids and the offers. Obviously, it's not going to open up at $20,000. Someone has basically a limit order in saying that they want to get filled. Same way on this side. This is what this is going to look like. It's a halted stock right now. We don't know when this thing's going to open. My bet, if I were to bet it, is going to be probably around 11. I would hope so. I'm hoping for a lot earlier, and let's just hope that it, no matter what happens, that it opens up on the show, because I'm super excited to trade Coinbase. And like I said, I'm already long. My order's in. I'm going to get long, whatever the opening price is, and then we'll wait to see what Neil was talking about there, if there's going to be any dips or anything like that. We're excited for Coinbase, Brendan.
All right, there's another IPO coming tomorrow. Lots of questions about this Too Simple. Guys, there was Steve was asking about Too Simple, which is coming. This one here, TSP, 1.5 billion on that one. Yeah, they have it on the 15th, guys. So I just sent you on Twitter there that link to NASDAQ's IPO calendar. So heads up, tomorrow we'll talk about Too Simple. Let's go to earnings. JP Morgan up first. Big quarter for them, 32.3 billion, or roughly 450 per share versus 310 per share. Guys, is that big enough?
Yeah, not big enough.
I mean, it's just a matter of what the market looks like right now. I think they were priced for perfection. We talked about that. They had to come with a big quarter, and they did. And it's just, is it big enough? I mean, we're only down 1%. We've seen JP Morgan be very, very volatile off earnings. Here's January. You see, 140. People thought it was really overheated at that point, and then it came back down after earnings as well. So down to 127, 128 or so. Rate to VWAP, rate to 50-period moving average here. And I think the same thing's happening right now. We're getting back to this level of 150. You know what? I've been a buyer, and I'm long this name sub 100, so down here. I think it's time to take this off. We are in a little bit of a zone right now, and if inflation hits, I know that's generally good for the banks because more rates, more money coming through their cycle. And I think that's good for JP Morgan. But at the same time, they didn't beat enough to break out of this range. Like, I was really hoping that we'd come in and this would be at like 155, 156. That's obviously not happening. We didn't even get there this morning. We got to like we didn't get anywhere. We fell off that level yesterday, tried to get back. Now we're falling again today. So I think I wrote down on the sticky note, guys, to watch out for this 152. It just held. I mean, this was before. I wrote the sticky note when we were up here, obviously, 8 o'clock, even before then. So I didn't see this little move come through, but we just did hold. I mean, this is the sticky note we're talking about. It's up there on Twitter. I've been posting it there. JP Morgan at the top, 152. And I mean, I don't know. I can't do it any better than that. It holds 152. And again, I made the note up here when we were at 153. If you take JP Morgan back to 152, it's like these areas right here. It's not rocket science, but it is trying to hold it. So I think it's Smash City if you break through 152. I'd just rather not see that happen right at open. I want to go short JP Morgan today. I do not want to go long. We'll check out what's on the board here. I don't even see them here unless I'm having eye problems, which I think I'm not. That's fine. Now they're not. J&J's there. But I like JP Morgan from the sell side, and I think I like the other banks to the long. But JP Morgan, right now, we're going to watch that 152.
Yeah, I mean, just to jump right down to the list, Wells Fargo here, guys. Look, they're going to have strong numbers as well. Make sure you follow the watch list, but a bit of a different take on the daily chart because Wells has lagged, and while we've seen the bigger trading names push and make some fresh highs, and I was going to look at Morgan Stanley as well, but they didn't report yet. Very, very similar to JP, and almost say in light of what just happened to JP Morgan, I wouldn't mind trimming some Wells Fargo if it gets any kind of a pop into earnings. But I look at Wells Fargo here, and I just look at this 41.60 and then again this like 41 even area, and it just feels like you made a bit of a double top that was chopping the way down at this particular price. If there's going to be any kind of sell action overall in this space, I do like the fade off of 40 if it gets a shot. And then you have this like clean little 40 break look as well. So it's a bit of a reversal play, be able to play the trend in either direction there. And then one more just to quickly go, because I want to get in Goldman Sachs as well. And I think you look at that range, this is exactly the same sort of setup on the chart. Off the high, consolidate out the 50 period, and then you have this very, very tight top that you saw in JP Morgan. Morgan Stanley will show you the same thing, and it's 335 that you're looking at here. So if you sort of subscribe to I like one for weakness, I like one for strength, you can have that sort of stop on one breakout 335 on something like a Goldman Sachs, which makes some sense to me here, guys. And this is a 15-minute chart, so this is just the last few sessions where you're getting that tight range off that bounce. So 335. I don't love gold. I've never had too much success trading these names when it's in the pre-market, but certainly after the market opens up, as long as it's not giving you that like it spikes to 335 and you get that fill like right at 930 or like 929. Those don't usually work out too well, but I'm looking at that 335 level on Goldman for break.
Yeah, both Wells Fargo and Goldman Sachs also pretty impressive numbers. I mean, $18.60 per share from $3.11 a year ago for GS. Average expectation was around $10.22. Sean, you want to throw in two thoughts here on Wells and GS?
Yeah, I mean, I think Neil just covered it pretty good there. I was looking at this Wells number right here. Again, we're only down nothing. We were just down 0.5. Now we're flat. I mean, it's going to go back and forth with whatever tick happens. So there you go. Now we're negative. I was just looking at yesterday's high of 40.25. That's what I wrote down on the watch on my sticky note there. But I don't know what this dip was. I'm going to consider that nothing. But you do have some holding spots here at 39.25. So if we're going to go 39.25, then 40.25, that's $1 worth of range right there. I think you can play top to bottom. I think that's what's going to happen today. I think we're going to get probably a dip into this level here, 39.40. I want to buy this, basically, is what I'm trying to get at here. 39.30, if we can get some 39.30 level, we'll try to buy that. The only problem is I want to short JP Morgan, so I really feel like JP Morgan on the way down will probably bring down some of these banks. So it's going to be interesting to see how I wind up playing this and which orders fill and where we come in and whatnot on this. But my focus for sure is going to be that there will close WFC is for sure going to be on JP Morgan. Again, as a holder of the stock, I've traded it way more than I have on Wells Fargo, but I am looking this 40 level as well. Pretty key here, on Wells. So whether or not we get to that or not, we're close, man. I mean, we're at $40 right now. So we'll see if that opens up. I'm preferring to go a little higher up to this 40.25. So it's 40.30. But if we can break that, then I think we're happy going long. And then honestly, this is a pure scalp for me. Again, if the banks run great, like if JP's going, if Goldman's going, if XLF is going, if some of the ETFs are going in the bank space, then we can hold on to Wells Fargo. But for now, I think a 40.25 break gets us back to yesterday's open, which is 40.75. So let's take $0.50 on this. I won't. I'll probably scalp out 10 cents. But the idea is that you can get 50 cents on this trade, I believe. And then I do think that we could go top to bottom here, meaning we come down to 39 and then we get right back to 40.25. So let's see what WFC does. If you're buying anything on weakness, for me, out of all the banks, it would be Wells Fargo.
All right, demo day for Palantir Technologies today. Impressive to say the least yesterday. It was about 10% the move at the end of the day, 9.7%. To the upside going into demo day. So it's here, guys. What do we do with it today?
Yeah. Look, I mean, both of us will be trading this today for sure, I would imagine. We were trading it yesterday afternoon. I missed basically this whole move up yesterday. We were looking at something else. I couldn't believe that we actually started off on the right foot and just ripped up yesterday. This happened last time. They had like, demo day is just, it's literally what it means. They're demonstrating. It doesn't mean demo like in construction. They are demonstrating their software. They're going to try to get new clients. They're going to show how it's been used with other base cases and now how you can use it again, including data management, customer relationship management, things like that. So security, there's lots that they have. You can look it up by following Palantir on Twitter. It's a good follow. If you want to know more about the business, they tweet everything. Okay, 25. Again, this is kind of the base. I wrote down here, people, and I corrected it. It says long back to 25, not 28. Long back to 25. So I think that we build the long back in here into 25. The reason why we talk about last demo day, and I should have looked this up, but I believe we actually went down on the day. Remember, it's buy the rumor, sell the news. So we're here today. A 10% move yesterday was monstrous alone. We haven't seen a 10% move in Palantir in a while. So I believe back to 25 can be bought. And then we basically watch what happens at 25. And then no surprise, there's some back and forth here right around 24 and a quarter, 3/4. So 24.75. So for me, I want to be long and get out if we do break this 25. I think that's the prudent thing. It depends how many shares I have, but if I'm dug in, we'll get out at 25. And then I want to see what happens back down here. And then the best trades for Palantir, guys, are always when this happens, when it bases out, when you can identify a base. We were trading this yesterday, like 23.75 and up. You saw me trading this. We missed this move, but we found a base down here and we kept pumping this until it finally broke out. So I'm thinking the same type of thing could happen here at 25, 25, 20. So I've got my orders layered in there. We'll cross our fingers and hope that Palantir gives us a beautiful fill before ripping to $500.
500 today? No, I mean.
Yeah, it's Coinbase today.
It's Coinbase.
I'm putting the Coinbase valuation on Palantir today.
It wouldn't be crazy if I saw 500 at some point on Coinbase. I'll believe anything with that stock. Ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? That's what might happen here today. Look, and anytime we see these stocks that have these like sort of like dip buy opportunities, Sean, like whether it's like a Neo or a Palantir, and it's like, okay, the trade's going to be to buy the dip. Almost never do I think, okay, well, maybe I should just, if I think that's going to happen, why don't I just sell into that move? I like that. I like that notion a heck of a lot better. And when I thought I'd be getting a rollover at 25, like right around like this 25, 50, 60 off of the high, off of yesterday's like, after the close or at the close tops. And then I got involved in Galt instead of getting into like a 25.50 with like a tight stop, 25 cents. And then all of a sudden you're in a different position when it gets to 25 even, because you're looking at taking profits in front and then maybe holding through on a bit of a breakdown. Totally different math if I were to short here at 25 and a quarter or so. I'm just going to show you on the 1 minute chart and zoom it in a little bit so you guys can see. Just a little bit of a difference if I happen to be thinking about shorting off of this move here. I'd almost have to think about getting out at 25.50 and then trying again a little bit lower. But because I do think there's going to be initially a bit of a sell, I want to try to play a short in Palantir first off. And then see, once it gets down like through like a 25 break, if it gives you that consolidation, then I'd be looking for that long. But I feel like I missed a bit of an opportunity at a breakdown of this trade at 25.50. And if it gives me a second shot at it, I plan on taking it at the open. But believe me, I don't want it going through the high of the day on me.
All right, lots to get through here still. Nicola, guys, back in positive territory this morning. Hydrogen news. I want to talk about Roblox. Sorry, Lucas, throwing you a curveball there a little bit. But Roblox, guys, what do we do with it today after yesterday's big move?
I mean, for me, I think you sell it. It was just such a big move, and someone tweeted at me their kid, or actually it wasn't their kid, it was some other kid sitting there talking about, the greatest retail trader of all time because he's just been buying Roblox all the way up. Look, I mean, yesterday was, I didn't even realize, I didn't even realize we were down.
Yeah,
so I just said sell without even looking at the chart. That was just a huge move yesterday. You got a lot of retail back in there once it broke 80, so you could see that. It started early. I have no idea what this rally was all about, but then it kind of kept wind. It held out at 78, and then like I said, once we got to that 80 level, it just kept holding it. Like it broke it, ripped up to I don't know, not even that high, 81, 82. Came back and sort of held that 80 level before closing. It was a great trade at the end of the day. I was able to capture a lot of this profit on here, and we went long. I believe it was on the 80 break, so we were able to catch a couple dollars, $3 or so actually at the end of the day. I remember we got some out at 83, and then we had to get some out at an 82 break, and now you're all the way back down. Look, in order, this is the thing, this is actually true, right? Like, people need to sell something to buy something. Right? I mean, that makes sense. Unless you're putting more money into the market. And I think what happens today is a lot of the traders that were trading Roblox probably want some powder for Coinbase. Trust me, this is what happens. So they come in today or last night, or in the pre-market today, last night after market. They know Coinbase is coming. They see Roblox. They see a huge win on Roblox because they're long 65, whatever the IPO price was, 65. It gets down to 65. They have a big winner in just over 2 weeks. They cash out of one stock and get ready to put their money into something else. So that is my theory here on Roblox, and I believe it's a solid one. Maybe it's not, but hey, ask my wife. I often don't say things that make any sense. So that is one for Roblox. I think it makes sense. And to me, I think Roblox will continue to be a sell until the Coinbase IPO opens. And then maybe we look at it in the afternoon. Yeah, smash that like, guys. Don't smash my face.
Yeah, and when you talk about the recent IPOs, it's a similar thing, and maybe even some of the bank strength can be in that play too. If you think it's a somewhat related sector, we've seen it time and time again here. I feel like and we're getting on in time here. I think we'll jump over to Nicola here, Brendan, because I heard you say under your breath a little something about Nicola when putting together the list this morning.
Yeah, if you want to talk about Nicola, I was going to go to these crypto stocks because Bitcoin at all-time highs. Go ahead, Neil, if you want to discuss Nicola here. It is positive.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're up here, and again, I always try to say, like, they get an installation deal, and Nicola, look, they can get all the deals they want. The daily chart speaks for itself. I'm going to try to be as quick as I can because it's already pushed into this 1285 to 13 range. That's the first defense I'm going to take here, and again, short on the pop of Nicola is the name of the game for me. That's what I usually try to do here. I am wary of the fact that if it pushes through, we can always squeeze into like 65. If it breaks that, that'll be only two shots I will take at this particular trade, and I'm willing to have it off of the open, although I know Nicola's done in the past where it's tried to break and shake out some of the shorts very, very early on in the session. So I do want to make sure I get something at a decent price, maybe like a 75 to 80 instead of paying down to 1250. Because if it just immediately starts fading, I think it's going to be easy to catch it maybe after like that first 5 minutes or so. But right at the open, I'd rather wait patiently to get a higher end of the range, 75s to 80s in front of 13. If that happens to go, I can always look back at that 1365 on Nicola. But let's sell the pop for me on Nicola. It kind of usually is.
All right, BTC. Are we there? Yeah, I think we're actually there currently. All-time highs for Bitcoin again today. So right across the board, pick one. These crypto stocks up 2 to 7%, depending on which one you want to look at.
I mean, on Friday, I said that Bitcoin was going to moon over the weekend, and now you're getting that. So congratulations to anybody that bought it at 55, 56,000 back on Friday-ish. Now you're up to 65,000. It's not stopping. So I don't know what else to tell you guys. All I've been doing, and again, like, thanks, what was it, Citron? Thanks for, like, I don't know, you watching the show, bro? Because we talk about here all the time, like, to trade, don't trade Mara, don't trade Riot. You trade them, they're great for trading. Sorry, I should take that back. But don't hold those if you're thinking that it's going to moon because of Bitcoin. We've already showed the inverse relationship sometimes there, and there's nothing wrong with owning those stocks. But for me, I'm going to keep going back to the same old thing. If you want to buy Bitcoin in a registered account, you can do that with the Purpose ETF, BTCC.B. It continues to be a rock and roll star. Forget about that chart. You have to look at the daily chart. You're up again today. Like I've been talking. I mean, Brendan, you know this. We were buying this thing this whole way. I first bought it when it first came out, right here around 10. I think it was 1084, something like that was my high. And I remember saying to Brendan, oh man, like I literally. Again, my kids, I got to get off that. I literally bought the high, but then thank God it gave us, not thank God, I don't ever want stocks that I buy to go down, but it did give us an opportunity to reload that down here. And then just like I said, here's the weekend where we talked about that. Shout out to Scarborough's Own the weekend. Down here to 1065, and then now you're getting a bump today. You're going to open up northbound of 12. So BTCC.B continues to be the one to buy. If you can't get Canadian stock, I don't think there's anything wrong. The grayscale scale. I see it advertised a lot here. It seems like, you know, this makes sense to me as well. This is very much following Bitcoin as well. It's not the exact relationship that we're looking for with BTCC, but this is a good one. And if you're looking at that, like I said, how could we be taking out all-time highs in Bitcoin, yet GBTCC is still below by a couple dollars, right? So that's the relationship I'm talking about. It's not exact, but it's good enough for me. You have ETHE on Ethereum side, and then you have GBTC, the grayscale here. Unfortunately, on our platform, where, you know, this is an equity-based, well, we have Forex and we have futures, but right now, no crypto available in our situation. So I'm gonna have to keep showing you guys different charts. Cardano to 150, I like that one as well. But BTCC just continues to be the king. And I don't know. I don't know if you have any ideas. I haven't looked at Mara or SOS or SI yet. I know you.
I've only looked at SOS and SI, to be honest with you guys. That's usually going to be the case. I'd find it hard to believe that that Silvergate doesn't have some money come out of it today. But I mean, that's just on the theory that you know, if you think about overall exposure for those that are like trying to get into Coinbase, it's just your exposure just keeps ramping up and up and up. At least even perceived rise, because you got PayPal, people own Square, you might own some Silvergate. Next thing you know, you're owning physical Bitcoin. Maybe even in the back of your mind, you're like, I got Tesla. Look, I just feel like there's likely to be some selling in some of these, and it's been so high at this point that it's hard not to endorse you know, covering SI if you want to be getting into Coinbase. I think there's going to be some people that are doing that today. I know SOS had a bit of a pop. For me, I would usually be thinking fade into this, but it's been a bit of a strong move, so I don't want to take this one off the top. Usually I would be thinking about where would I short SOS. I'm going to let this one matriculate off of the open and see if it can't actually press even higher than this, maybe into like a 550, 560. For now, I'm going to stay away from being too bearish on this name on this particular day, Brendan.
All right, under 5 minutes, guys. Thank you so much for everyone joining us today. Great numbers coming in for the open. Again, I notice a lot of people asking about coin, when it's going to open. We don't know. We're going to wait. No one knows. If they tell you they do, they're lying. But we'll keep you up to date when we get any indication. Real quick, UTSI. I don't see any reason why this is higher this morning. It popped up after market yesterday. Just looking at 180, which is the top end of the range from the pre-market, and then this is $2 up here that it tagged in the aftermarket yesterday, guys, for UTSI.
No, okay, don't say no news to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about UTSI. We'll look at that one. Thanks. And again, Brendan, if you're looking for the odd stock and what's moving around, Brendan will be here all day, every day. Today we're coming back at 3:15 as well to talk about stock and to trade for you guys. Facebook's already broke. I added Facebook 308.50. We're gonna see if we can get a little short here off the open on Facebook. We're waiting for a little bit higher prints to come. I added Facebook 308.50 to my sticky note. Check that on Twitter. I'll put that up in a minute. But the other point that I was gonna get at right now is that JP Morgan, again, like maybe we need to stop doing the show so early, because it's basically following these levels that we're giving and not giving us an opportunity to get in. So I told you guys that it would be Smash City time through 152. Unfortunately, that's already, someone already smashed it. So it's already back down through this 152 level. As you can hear in my voice, I'm a little sad about that. We'll put an offer to see if we can get short now. We're going to need it to rip up here off the open to get us that print. I wish we still had it. It's only 15 cents away, so it's not like, I mean, I can get it now. Just wish that we could play the momentum into it. Like I almost wish we started up here, 152.50, and then we could hit it down. Like now it's going, damn it. So that was JP Morgan, missed opportunity there. No, I mean, we'll see. I think we still can get it. And then WFC, we talked about 40.50. If there's going to be anything long that we like, it's a 40.25 break on WFC. But some of these moves already happening, guys.
Apparently, just seeing Bernie Madoff has passed away in federal prison. So interesting news there. But I mean, I don't know that matters too much. But look, at the end of the day, it's tragic. And you guys probably follow that story along. But it's interesting you just saw that hit the wire. I got to get to a couple really quickly. I'll get to VTVT. Day two play. Again, can't hold some of those highs. Shorting in front of that 350 to 360 area. But Carnival Cruise, I know you mentioned it here, Sean. I'm looking at probably a similar thing. You get this 28.15 top, flush city off the open, well, in the pre-market yesterday, and then a big time recovery. We're essentially consolidating right at that high. I like the risk till about 28.25 or so, but I'm going to be looking to short this one almost right off the open on any pop into that 28 quarter. So going to take Carnival Cruise Lines into that south side. Wells Fargo, if we can. We talked about the banks, talked about that 40 level on Wells Fargo. And again, if you sort of have the prelude of like you can do a quick reversal, I do like the short on Wells and see if I can't pick it up in front of that 40. But it's kind of a bit of a breakout trade that I would prefer not to happen at 9:30. I think that's sometimes a bit of a sucker's bet. But Wells Fargo watched that level, and Tesla. Oh wow, so Tesla's back at like 770. So no 787 rollover. That was whatever. I say 787, 687 all the time, but I'm not going to get that price on any potential resistance because it looks like Tesla has already sold off away from that 787 top.
And like, come on, I see somebody there in the chat say, see ya to my Facebook short. Like, Sean, just, I need to get away from not taking these things in the pre-market. Like, there's so many times where it's like, I get nervous taking them in the pre-market because like right now it's $1 spread on Facebook. So you can take it, but you gotta be light, right? That's why I'd rather these things open up in the middle of the day and we can get a little stronger. I know we talked about Nikola a little bit there. It's on my watch list. I like it for a 13 break. I mean, it's a shitty stock, and I mean, trust me, as an owner of this stock, I know what we're talking about here and how frustrating it's been. But you can see here, if it does break back, I just wonder if is there going to be a little bit of a bottom made here. I mean, it's still great at 12. I mean, we could just flush out.
Oh,
I just want to give everyone's attention to Nikola there. We're going to be watching JP Morgan off the open in only 10 seconds to go here.
There is that countdown. Miss V is on the bell. She's in the North Carolina blue today. I'm a Michigan State fan, but let's drop it down. 5, 4, 3. Don't break it like Randy does.
Good move. Okay, JP Morgan back. We got the short there. So here we go. So all that complaining, and let's see if it now rips my face off here as we are short 151.93 on JP Morgan, looking to get a little more short as well on the upside. So we did take that short into a move upside on JP Morgan. I like the downside move here. So let's see where JP Morgan goes right now. We're short and in the money, but it's bouncing around.
Yeah, and here comes the initial pop on Palantir. Now, I want to get a little bit here, and again, like dance with the devil in the pale moonlight is what I kind of said I was going to be doing. If there was any kind of a pop, I wanted to take a couple of shots at this. VT is going down. I wanted to make sure I gave that one to you guys, but I don't think it's going to be something that worries me too much. It's one of those day two type of shorts, but I just picked some up at 44 on Palantir. I'd like to see if it can't round off a little bit before any kind of a flush. Remember, 25 is a bit of a decision point, so going to scalp some off in front of that if we get that opportunity.
And it's already started, so we'll start with a mini bang. As we go downside right now on JP Morgan, man, we're getting lit up right now for a win, actually, on the right side of things finally. So yesterday we were huge. We hit NVIDIA really nicely off the open. I mean, if you don't like this sheet, that's a 152 right now. So that's 70, 80 cents now in the money on that. We've cashed some out for 50 cents, then we cashed it out for 75 cents, and now we'll keep going to the downside right now. Palantir breaks, and bang for Palantir as we break above now. We go long through 25.50, then we take out the high of the day as well. So a nice little runner on Palantir. We're going to go 2 for 2 to start the day. Let's go.
Palantir hasn't broke the high yet. I have 70 as a top. That's what I'm short in front of here.
Boom.
It just broke that 70, so I'm going to take my Palantir. First look is going to be out on Palantir. I said I danced with the devil in the pale moonlight. We tried it once and failed. I liked Wells Fargo for the short off 40. No Moss did not get that one there, so unfortunately, it is what it is. We'll go over everything, not even getting into Wells, but I just got that CCL trigger, so I'm short in CCL. 28.17 in front of that 28 quarter.
Man, we're loving life right now. Nice long here. Bang, bang, bang. Right to the upside on Palantir. Your boy did that, so hot dogs for everybody. Let's go. And then we cannoned it up too on JP Morgan. We're just going to go 2 for 2. And look, I'd say this all the time. We're not going to stop trading, but if you took these both these plays, you could be done for the day right now. Let's just wait to see though. CCL, good call on that one, Neil. I'm waiting a little bit longer. Let's just check in before we go to Brendan about WFC. It does make that move. I told you top to bottom, possibly. There's that bottom, 39.25. Unfortunately, I was not sitting there. Damn it. But we did call that level. What up, Beep?
The other one with earnings, guys, BBBY to the downside so far, but buy volume coming in here at 24. So watch 24 on the daily chart as well. Huge level being tested right now for Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah, that was one that, look, I mean, obviously there's a lot to cover and a lot to get to. I'll take this one on a kind of weakness. I mean, obviously it doesn't do as much pre-market volume. Today is an exception. If it does give you anywhere back to like this 24.50 on a bit of a pop, I get involved in that particular name. I scalp reverse because I mean, I had the long, maybe a little bit higher than that on the actual top on Palantir, but I reversed out of that one for a scalp trade. I do still like the idea that they could sell the news here, so I took the short, tried it, jammed at the top, it then made the breakthrough, scalp out of the long, also be down on the stock, no question about it. And then I said I promised I would get to that VT, but it wasn't going to be any trouble. That turns out it looks like it's going to be the case here. I haven't covered anything yet just because I wanted to see it get down to those quarters first, but all the shorts I have are at like 340. I took one entry, got out accidentally with a bad stop, got right back into it. So once it breaks below that 325 mark, that's when I want to start taking profit on that particular name. I'll hold a little bit of Palantir, but it's not peeved, but I know you mentioned that about the banks here, Sean, but that Wells Fargo, it has come back to that 40 area. So every now and then you get a second shot at like redemption. I didn't have the short in the pre-market, but now finally getting to this one off that 40 level is it goes down to 39 and pops right back. So every now and then the market rewards you for missing out on a trade and gives you a second chance. We got one here in Wells Fargo.
What up, Beep?
Snap, guys. I saw in the pre-market there was an upgrade on this. Didn't really do much. Was holding 24 or 64, I should say. But a huge pop there at the open. 4.5% already for Snapchat.
Wow. Yeah, we were buying that. I mean, you guys remember that call, I'm sure you do, on that Snapchat when we talked about buying it through that break. And when it did break, it's just been nothing but upside for Snapperoonie. We do have JP Morgan. We did average into the short, so let's see where that one wants to go from here. We do have Snapchat opportunities through now, or sorry, JP Morgan. We did get another short, so attention on that one, guys, for Snapchat. Looking at some damage there on Ethereum ripping to the high side. And here comes JP Morgan. We averaged in. Let's see if this one can continue to go to the downside, guys. JP Morgan.
Yeah, so Wells Fargo, I mean, I actually just tried to add to my position there, but I still only have, unfortunately, 39.70s. I just tried to pick some up in the mid-60s as well. By pick some up, I mean, sell some in the mid-60s. Just want to take a bit out in front of that VWAP, that 39.50 if I can. The other position that we have on, I'm going to hang on to that pounds here, but CCL came in as well, started rounding itself off around those quarters that we liked, so that's where I decided to add to it. If it gets back below 28, I'd say fantastic, but at this point, have to look at 28 as a dip, as a dip at a place where we have to take some shares off. Palantir just broke through 26, so the reverse looks like it's going to be good so far. I got 76 on the long. A little bit later on in that little move, and the consolidation of CCL going to add a little bit to that position there. Just like the rollover potential of that one. And we didn't talk we did talk about Goldman Sachs. The only thing I was looking for was a 335 potential breakout. If that happens, remember I'm shorting Wells Fargo here in front of 40. We're likely to be reversing Wells at 40 if we're seeing a breakout in Goldman at 335.
And guys, let's just go. Let's go. Like Palantir, like lighting it up right now. You guys want the winners. Well, you've got a banger right now with Palantir as we just keep on ripping to the high side right now. Just a big time trade there. So happy with that. But we're giving some back now on JP Morgan as we talked about that. I should have possibly there gone on long with WFC at the very bottom. We're going to find some more opportunities here though, guys. So let's not worry about that. We will find some more and we'll find out where to get out of JP Morgan Chase. It is breaking above. We do have highs yesterday, this 153.40. That's probably a good enough spot there to think about getting out. Let's take one more average in here as it's just ripped. So that's a good spot to think about getting out now on JP Morgan. We're fine. I mean, we're down $1. We took some money here, but we've averaged in, so it is a little bit of a hit. Let's take some more shares short here.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with ride the money train. And, well, it's not a train. It's an airplane. It's crashing now. Look, Wells Fargo, I just got some more shares out south of VWAP, 39.33. So we took the shorts up in the 70s here and tried to get more at 65, like I mentioned. I'll take another leg out in front of that 39 area. So I'll look maybe like past the quarters, into the teens, like that in front of that 40. It gave us the second crack, missed it off the open. We got it the second time. Brendo?
We noted yesterday some of these stay-at-home type stocks were moving back to the upside. Sonos, guys, just popping up here a little bit thin so far today. Got about 44 there, which is all-time highs for Sonos.
And also to the downside, and we'll do the money straight here, is CCL rolls over. Saw it start to come down. We like that consolidation. Said I would pick up more shares. Wait for it to go down a little bit. Got in too early. Sometimes that'll happen at 9:30. Just calm yourself down and then start thinking about where you want and what your average price should be. And we liked those quarters, right? So end up, essentially now with like 28.30, 24 is my last entry point and my overall average price after that little entry here. If we can get back to 28 even, I'd probably trim even more shares down in front of that. And if it makes a break, yeah, I'd certainly take out in front of the opening range at 27.90. Look, the market just turned, the ES just turned green, I should say. The NASDAQ is falling off here, though, so it's a bit of a tech to the downside move. And speaking of that, I just looked over at Tesla and saw it was bouncing a little bit. Now, I don't think it's going to happen, but I mean, if Tesla comes back, I'd be looking at that 780 area before that 787 for sure. You guys remember on the way up, 780, could be a little bit of a level there. So if it does catch a bounce, Tesla, I'll watch for anything happening rolling over in front of 780.
Yeah, guys, how about that Facebook shout out there? Unfortunately, we did miss it, but look at that move. We talked about 308.50, guys. We added that to our, to our list there. If you're following us on Facebook, here we go. Here it is right here. Here's the sticky note. Sorry, on Facebook, this Twitter. Here's the note, and then adding Facebook breakdown of 308.50. You're seeing where that is right now. So follow me on Twitter if you did want some of these levels for you. And they're just levels I'm looking at, and then I'll discuss them live on the show. And if you have any questions, you could tweet them at me as well. We emptied out, man. Like our Palantir there, once you break above 26, you got to think about getting out. We're right back to VWAP. We have a very, very small piece. We're talking like 5% left here on PLTR. So a good little move for us here. It does retrace back to VWAP, possibly a good spot to get out. But I do like selling the news. I do like that rhetoric as well. So today is demo day. So I think we get another piece off right now on Palantir and then hold the last bit. There we go. It takes them out at 83. And then hold the last bit to see if it does moon out. But for right now, I'm still waiting for lower bids to come. We did take out a little bit of our JP Morgan here as we've averaged into the short. So we're just trying to, we're flat now net wise as we take that hit. So it's basically this position to roll, and then we'll see if this one comes through. But right now, flat on our net on JP Morgan. We're obviously up on Palantir. And then CCL, man, like I missed my offer. And again, it's right here. I don't know why this always happens to me, but my offer's at 34. It teed up as high as 33. So got to put my offer a little lower if I want to get that fill. What up, Brendo?
Lots of strength so far in the crypto-related stocks. I just brought up this one, BT, not to be confused with VT, or even FT. 17%, guys. Just testing this $18 level right now for BT.
How are we supposed to keep? I want to mix that up every single time. I want to power it up here. Look, I said I was going to look for Tesla to come back and then try any kind of a rollover. And again, it's just like rubber band action. Like it comes up, it snaps back down. If it happens too fast, I want to play that fade. It wasn't quite to 780, but you do see pre-market here. And there was that 778 area. So the second I saw it slow down on the tape, I'm like, bam, let's get 777. And we shorted that. We just scalped some out to look at this level here, 775. Take a couple of bucks off of it. I think maybe we'll get like $5-6 out of this if we can get the rest down to like 771, 772, something along that range here in Tesla. And again, some of these trades, if it's going to be a scalp trade, it's be like a quick rubber band rollover, snap back, that kind of a thing. We'll let you know what we're thinking here. When it comes to Wells Fargo and the banks in general, nothing to do for me on Goldman Sachs yet, right? But I got to note that Wells Fargo sort of slowing down, but this little bounce couldn't really blow past that 39.50. So if that turns into some resistance on Wells, they're down 1%, sell off on the earnings. I mean, obviously, look, they all blew them out of the water. But money's got to go somewhere, like Sean was mentioning. And if you're looking at the banks, they've been on a fantastic run. It just doesn't shock me to see some selling in today. Hopefully, that little hold at 39.50 is going to get us that push down to 39 that we've been looking for, guys. So far, so good. I mean, I said I would dance with the devil in the pale moonlight. So obviously, I lost the short in Palantir. Everything else has worked so far, including, thank goodness I reversed to the long side, which, you know what, Sean? I usually would not do that.
Look at Palantir now.
Yeah, look at it now.
So we just took a long down there as it just cranked down. We talked about that, man. I mean, we talked about getting out right there. It breaks through VWAP, and now we're getting long. And I'm making a hell of a lot more money on this trade, actually, than I did before. Boom! We pick up Palantir and just spin it because here we go again. We're doing it again on Palantir, guys. This is exactly the play. I gave you this play yesterday. We are now one time daily goal here as Palantir. You wouldn't think, like, how could you make money when this is doing this? But we are, man. We're scalping it out. We took a hell of a lot of shares down here. We talked about defending that 25. Now let's go to the upside if we can here for Palantir. JP Morgan coming back in. You see the price we have now, 152.60. We've been taking a little bit off. We'll wait for 152, but hell, who cares about JP Morgan when you've got Palantir and you're firing off hot dogs, Brendo?
Another one trying to get back in play, I guess. AI, guys. C3 AI has kind of gone to sleep over the past few weeks. Financial Times here adding this stock. There we go. Financial Times adding this stock to their list of fastest growing companies. So C3 AI up 5% today on volume, guys.
I find that a little bit interesting. I mean, a little surprised to see that happening on today of all days when all eyes are on another IPO. But anyways, recent IPO, or a new IPO, I should say. VT, this one's going to be an easy one. I think it's found a bit of a base at 315, so I just want to add, if this pops back into 330 to 335, I would like to reshort this one, or sorry, get back into some shares to the short side. Just to come over to our good friend Carnival Cruise. Yeah, that's happening. So we're going to do this. I think we talked about this on we try to go over all the plays and what we're looking at, and we try to rush them in as much as we can. Not always on the watch list, but we trade the travel space. Yesterday was the airlines for me, but shorting into Carnival off that 28 quarter mark was going to be it. It's now broken 28, like I said. If it got down to that opening range bottom, which was literally one little snap down, 27.90, I would buy back in front of it. So got some 95s there overall. Quick little 30-cent scalp. I'm going to hang on to see if we have a bigger flush in this name, and then we'll see if we can't double dip if it makes any kind of pop off that 28.25 level. As far as Tesla goes, still hanging on. It tried to break this high here at like 778. Couldn't really go through, got like a few pennies above it. Looks like if it double topped there, we might get that shot at that 770 scalp that we're looking for, guys. So Tesla's still on board to the short side. And, Brendan, news. What's up, bud?
MBRX, one that pops up every now and then. This is a cancer-related therapeutic company popping up this morning. They had a pediatric designation again, their second one in about a month for a cancer treatment for kids, guys. So 8% for MBRX.
Like, this is just, can this day really, I've only traded two names and they've both been absolutely perfect for me. I wish JP Morgan had fallen even more, but now we're positive on JP Morgan, obviously, as we have 75 cents now in the money. And then Palantir has just been, this is going to look ridiculous, but this is how you know, like, I have tons of shares, so just getting out like crazy there. So 25.30 now to the upside. I'm still beside myself that I missed that CCL trade by literally 1 penny. I was on the offer at 34, and I guess I was offering EdgeX, but I guess I should have been offering something else. Might have got, I don't even know if it went to 34 offer, but that was a great trade to the downside. Now it's coming back, so we'll keep that bid there just in case we do get that retracement back in. I think it might be time now. We're back down to 152. Don't I have, no, I already got that, Phil. What was I talking about? I was like, don't I have a 152 bid? But here we go, JP Morgan. I said that there's a possibility that we could fail downside now, so let's put another bid, 150, 150. When it was ripping up here, I said, let's get more short. When it was ripping up to the top side, we did. Now we're nicely in the money. There goes Palantir. Actually, Palantir just falls. So we get out there. Hey, I didn't even notice. Like, I was so flat on the stock. Don't even notice that it hit me. So we got out a little bit there on that break. That's okay. Now let's wait to see on the downside. That's why you get out, guys. Like, I was talking about that right there. So now we'll see on the downside of Palantir. Next stop is 24.75. Let's see if it gives some resistance. But the short was huge on Palantir, as was my long. So my number one stock today, Palantir, guys. Let's just keep it going.
Yeah, I was too early on that one for sure. I mean, certainly when I got out of that long, I tried a quick little reverse manually through like that 75 area. And I should have just gone with like a stop and said, you know what it, and get into it no matter where it happens to be. Got to come back if I can. Like Brendan had mentioned this name up on essentially no news. I'm like, why didn't I just say no news? That's like your bread and butter on any kind of a pop. UTSI pops into $2. Wow. I mean, gives you like failed break at 2 even on the stock, which has no catalyst to it, and then comes right back towards those lows. If it doesn't give any kind of a move back into like 185 to 190, previous pre-market high, yeah, I'm definitely going to be shorting this particular name. I think it's going to be worth it. We'll go to Brendan, but back on watch is going to be Goldman Sachs. We'll get to that.
Just checking on Morgan Stanley, April 16th for earnings on Morgan Stanley, but yeah, just about to take out day highs here. So this one, very positive, guys. MS running.
I was getting my orders lined up here for Palantir because we are going to take this one if it does. I mean, we are seeing some nice size here. Sorry, that's JP Morgan. But okay, I'm on the bid here in the 70s at JP Morgan. We're $1 in the money. Come on, JP. Let's print this for us. We're in the 70s right now with the market coming down. If we get a little bit of more push here on JP Morgan, we'll celebrate yet again another dollar winner here. So good trading today. Can't complain. And this is what we're just loading up right now. Palantir, big win. You won't. I mean, it's embarrassing how good of a win it was, but that did dip down, and I feel bad if you guys didn't get that out. But what else can you do? We talked about sell the news today with demo day. So now we're going to start to take some bids. This is another bid spot for us. 24.75. I've decided that because this move was so violent, I got to give it to 24.50. So we'll be averaging in smaller here, and then we're going to give it to 24.50. If that breaks, we'll probably give back our day, which is fine. But that's what I'm going to wait on. Look at that. There was some big size. There's some size here following this down on ARCA. So watch out here. Palantir looks like there's a big seller here. We're going to have to build into this long, and hopefully that seller disappears by the time we're done. But there's another bid for us down there at 73, guys.
Guys, before we go, I think we're going to Brendan here. I talked about shorting Wells Fargo and getting into Goldman Sachs, and of course, 335. I mean, give me a break. Yeah, I thought I had to stop. I'm not going to lie. Didn't get that long. It actually gave you a shot to get back in, which I certainly missed. If it dips back, I think I got to take a quick little shot in front of VWAP, or at least in front of 335 again. But the breakout is on there. And notice Wells can hold the short, and then Goldman in the long. So it's all about the relative strength and weakness that you play off of. Brendan?
Moderna strong again today, guys. 4.5% already for mRNA. Almost 157. We mentioned yesterday. Popped up in the pre-market, if you remember, after the J&J news. So Moderna moving again.
Okay, so we're taking out some profits here, about 10 cents now on Palantir. We just took a little bit out there. Our average price 78, so we just took some out at 85, I guess. And now we're going to rip the. I just put an order to get out for that 10 cents. Here it is, 86, 87, 88, 89. This is what I'm talking about. You wait, guys. Wait for everything to line up. And there it is on Palantir. I gave you guys that 24.75. It's not as heavy as I'd like it to, but we did take that 72 bid down there. We were waiting for a break. So do again, I mean, I can't tell you guys what to do because you trade yourself and you guys have bigger winners than me, but I'm starting to get out again here now on Palantir. Take this one for what it's worth. You see my positions. We're now in the money 17 cents here on Palantir. So I'm taking it, man. We're getting out. Good trade on Palantir. Even if it falls down now, we win. So that's how I like to trade. There it is. JP Morgan cracks, man. Another dollar. So we're just going perfect right now, guys, today. We've only traded two names, JP Morgan, Palantir. We're looking at a bit of Ether and some Bitcoin as well. Snapchat, Brendan, thanks for bringing that to our attention. That thing is off. What up, V?
Hey, Sean, Starbucks is at all-time highs. Do you think, guys, this name worth keeping an eye on today?
Sure, I think you could keep buying Starbucks. I mean, it's amazing that they closed all the stores everywhere, yet they're still balling out of control. I guess that's cost cutting, so good job for Starbucks. As you can see, I'm long this name in the 50s. We've talked about that. I started buying it the minute my wife was spending $2 or $3 a day there, and that's cheap. Not a day, she doesn't spend that much there. But the thankfulness about my wife is that she just likes the plain coffee. So you pay the $1.80 or whatever it is for the coffee there, so that's fine. But Starbucks just keeps on moving. I like what they're doing. But like Mark Roberts and I were discussing, I'm a little nervous about the Chinese rhetoric right now. And I know Starbucks is such a huge part there in China. So for me, I'm not long at these prices, nor do I really think there's a day trade in this name because I'm just looking at so many other things. But Starbucks, good call, guys. If you're long this name, I think you can get longer back to 100, but I'm not a buyer of this. I'm actually want to sell some of my Alibaba and whatnot right now. I just think that China may be in trouble if, especially, I don't like that flying over with those airplanes. I think that's just not a nice look there and not a good one.
That was an aggressive, that's an aggressive
too
move.
aggressive for me.
Yeah, and look, the market's in a place where taking and trimming some positions is going to make a heck of a lot of sense. I sort of said that from the beginning. It's not falling down, it's not flushing down the toilet bowl as per se, but Wells is the relative weak name here in the banks. It just based out again at that quarter mark. So I'm going to take some more shares off. I've only been able to get that one rollover. Again, didn't catch it off the open. I got lucky in that it bounced right back into my entry price area, so I could get that short at like 932, 933. If it now makes a break to the low, I still like the idea of taking it off in front of 39 even, but I just want to make sure I got more out in front of that quarter, just in case it tries to make a bit of a breakout to the top side, which, it wouldn't surprise me too much. CCL reload. Basically, it's same prices. I mean, we tried to get the same price areas before the first time it popped up. I'll be a little bit more aggressive, maybe taking this one out in front of those teens, given the fact that it's come almost all the way back here. But as long as we can hold the same price, there was one pop to 34, and then it realistically, if you were looking at this side level 2 up, unless you were really aggressive, that you were probably not getting anything unless you were shorting it in the mid-20s, guys. Brendan?
One that came back to life a little bit yesterday, guys. Fastly just popping up here already has gone 70.5 to 73.5. But we got above these highs from late in the day yesterday in the pre-market. So FSLY, 5% already, guys.
Shout out to Hydration Nation. We've already hit the Costco vitamins today. Get those going. We have Hydration Nation. And look, man, Someone said yesterday, clear mind. You know, that's what we're doing, man. We're doing it. You could see here, Palantir. Yeah, CCL did go back up to that price. Okay, I still have my 34 there, so we'll wait to see if that gets filled. We just took some out there at 25. Like, hey, runner, man. We're going to take that out on Palantir. Like, bang, bang, bang. We're almost out now of this long. We have 30% left of our initial position there on the downside. So, hey, we're cashing that out. I think maybe just cash another piece out right now, get down to 20% or so if I get those 87s, which I do not. So here we go, now crashing to the downside. I did want to look back. I heard Neil mention CC. Okay, so it did come back. Darn it. I didn't change my offer. Why didn't I change my offer down to the 28, 29 there? Should have been put. Damn it, missed that trade. We'll wait for CCL to come back. But right now, have Palantir on the mind.
Actually, good learning experience here, right? Because I'll tell you this from the get-go, that I was watching CCL. You have to have a level 2 up, and if Sean's on Palantir, right, it's like focus on what's moving the best. Because a lot of times when you're trying to get that consolidation or build a position or average in those types of things, you really want to be focused on that particular stock. And that's what I was sort of saying. Unless you were noticing that it couldn't really give you any fills in those 30s, and you had to press down into the 20s to be able to get it in CCL. It's a hard thing to catch unless you have that level 2 or you're watching it. So when you're trading multiple names, a lot of times you do have to focus on the one that you're going to be taking more fills on, and that's perfectly fine, right? You make the money on Palantir. That's what it's all about. I mean, I'll admit it. I bungled Palantir. I should have been a little bit more patient with the short. Take a breakout long, but be patient with that little rollover short. Instead, I stepped in front of the devil and I got run over. I have a train thing for it, but I'm not going to hit it. I'm going to hit this one. I'm going to hit it a lot. Every time we make money, those are Bitcoins up there, and it's Coinbase Day, guys. It's Coinbase Day. We don't know, like Bren said, if anyone that tells you they know when it's going to open up, we have absolutely no clue. We'll be all over it when it does. No indications it's anytime soon. I'll try to take some more CCL out on the south side of VWAP here. Looks like this one might give you the same move back down into 27.90. I'll probably grab some more out in front of 28 and then try to rinse and repeat. But a third time, I don't know if I want to load right back into it a third time. Might break out at that point, especially if it puts in a higher low here.
Yeah, it might not be a good trade. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to cancel and just go. I mean, I'm going to hear Neil talking about it, so I'll go over to it when it's hot. Fine, yeah. Okay, so Palantir, we just took another bid as it just falls right back down. We talked about getting out on the high side, which we did. So good trade there. Now we're long again at 73 as it rips up again to 80. So, I mean, let's just get some more out here. We can't go wrong scalping out. We pay no fees here at Day Trade the World. So what I'm doing is I'm taking bids. I'm actually getting paid to get filled there and then just offering them out. And then sometimes, there we go. I mean, like, Brendan, man, what else are we supposed to do here? Let's just keep spinning this. I don't know. Have you traded Palantir yet, my man?
I have not. It's a busy morning. Archegos, guys. This mess will not go away. Just noticed Discovery A, DISCA, down big time again today. Apparently, Credit Suisse still trying to unwind their positions. This was announced after market yesterday. So DISCA, tons of volume, trying to get back to the upside, guys.
Man, I was just happiest that Morgan Stanley got out at the top there because, obviously Morgan, Goldman Sachs, whatever. Whether it's like the best timing in the world or a bit of a plan of action that could have been shady, it is what it is. Like I don't know if the flush is going to be done here, but I think of course, I just lost my 15-minute chart. But one of the things that we talked about yesterday is wait for it. Like, there's so much room for it to run. Wait for it to actually show you some strength again. And someone asked, "Is it a good buy?" I'm like, I don't know. Maybe if it gets back above that 43 level that I like, I would think about it. And if this thing cracks any lower, I'd probably look to that mid 30 range to maybe pick up some shares on a buy in the day trade aspect. But otherwise, it's a stay away for me. I'm just going to stay far away from this name. To come back to Palantir here, I know Sean's all over it. He's covering it, so I don't want to dwell on it too much. But you do see this opportunity here. I mean, look at this 25 level, like bang, sort of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I look for a quick little scalp long off 25 long, just because it's not a huge level. Of course, my level 2 doesn't show. It is what it is, guys. Unfortunately, I just got the break long. I got 02s there. I was trying to tell you guys I was going to look for a scalp trade off of that 25 break, as it was rounding out in that range.
Guys, I mean, this is just like textbook. Bang, bang, bang. Like, look at Palantir. Now we're sitting in a 30-cent winner. Like, I don't need to trade. This is the same thing as yesterday. We destroyed NVIDIA. We destroyed NEO. We destroyed Palantir. I don't even have that many names on the board yesterday. Look at today's board. Short JP Morgan, $1 in the money. Long Palantir. We just crushed that out at 25. You know, I'm not taking breakouts. I'm buying the levels that I know are strong. And if you're doing doing that with me then. I mean, today you're just like belly dancing in heaven right now. What a great opportunity this has been. Yesterday, 200,000. Today, we just destroy Palantir over and over again. So, hey, man, big time day. I'm so happy. Let's get Coinbase open. We'll see when that's going to happen. Brendan will keep us abreast of any openings in Coinbase or potential time opens. What's up, Beep?
Don't see anything yet, but definitely we'll keep everyone up to date. Cinedigm, another one moving today, a little one on record subscription and ad-supported user growth milestones that they achieved. So big pop here for this one. CIDM up 20%, guys.
Yeah, buddy.
No, sorry. People are asking about BTBT here, and it's making a bit of a run to the upside. There was SOS that I said I was going to stay away from. I just didn't like the fade in any of these sort of crypto names on this particular day, and if you can't figure out why, there's just this thing that's happening. And still broke. Gonna have to fix that chart there, guys. My 15-minute. But BTBT, it is approaching a bit of a rollover spot here. And if you're looking at that like 1850 level, normally that would be okay. It flushed out an even dollar. You go into the pre-market highs as well. That would be a short all day, every day. I think you're going minimal size here, or just sort of staying away from it altogether. I quickly scalped half out when it wouldn't go on Palantir, and the other half I just took out. So it could be a flat trade on that breakout style trade. And then I have to come back over to Wells because it looks like there is a bit of a bounce back happening. Remember that 40 level that we talked about? Just broke back above VWAP. I said I'd take more out in front of the quarters because it was showing some signs of strength. So if we continue this move back into the upside here, I would take one shot, but not at 75 and 70, 75s. I'd probably look for something a little closer to that 40 mark. It's a 39.95 high. It's that 40 level I like. If this presses any higher, I'm only averaging in closer to that 40 for the short in Wells. And when it comes to Goldman Sachs, tried to dip by, never really came all the way back for me. So 335 break. It's come and it's gone. Of course, it's down. It's up to like 339 here, but that breakout was a solid one. If you could catch it, I was shorting Wells. That worked. It's all about relative strength and weakness. Thankfully, caught the short end of that trade.
Yeah, cash me on the outside. If you guys know where that's from, then that's bad because I shouldn't even know where that's from. Yeah, I know Valeria knows where that is. Cash me outside, guys. Okay, 14, huh? Yeah, she likes it. Okay, 1430 here. I just want to talk about PaySafe. Someone brought that to my attention here, guys, and good job. Daryl's in the building. What up, Daryl, my man? You added to your PaySafe position yesterday, long-term. You know that I'm long-term with you on this one, Daryl. So let's just keep, don't tell too many people about PaySafe. We don't want everyone to get super rich, do we? But no, we do. Everyone. We want everyone to make money. But if you're trading Palantir, then today, there ain't no problems with making money because here we go to the high side now just up, man. 40 cents, 30 cents now in the money on this one, and we're going to keep on. We're loving this name as much as we can today. Palantir on demo day. I'm done. Like, I don't have any more levels. We'll just wait till it comes back. We'll see if we can't ride this one as much as we can here to the upside, but I'm flat. Like, I have 5% now left on this position, so we'll wait to see on that one. But right now, happening now, there's always something happening. Trader TV Live. Let's check out what it is with Brendan.
Yeah, busy start to the morning, guys. Let's have a look at North American markets here. We are positive right across the board. The S&P, the Dow, and NASDAQ. The 100 is struggling. It was positive, just went negative, but still 0.5% for the Dow leading the way. The composite, NASDAQ composite, 0.2% to the upside. Look at small caps. Yeah, strong day once again. A couple of days in a row to the downside, so bounce back. Full percent for small caps. The Russell in positive territory here in Toronto, about 0.5% to the upside for the TSX. Couple of things we were talking about in the pre-market. Bed Bath & Beyond, they didn't like that number. Consolidating here right at day lows. That just marked off. It looks like 24 as a bit of an area that it's trying to hold, but not succeeding at the moment, guys. Watch out if you are looking at BBBY. Yeah, this 24 over here. A bit of a problem so far for Bed Bath & Beyond. One more I can show you before we go back. Goldman, yeah, very, very strong. The only one. This worked. I mean, pick one. They all worked. It did flush at the open, so it was very thinly traded, but eventually got going in the right direction. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Brendan. Right back in, then I'm going to look at C3AI here. It's continuing to press. It just got into, like, if you start to look at when this the move to the low happened, there was this sell-off day on the 7th. So it all started out right at like 68.35 in that pre-market, and you had top here just in front of 70 even. So I look for those points for turns. And again, if you're going to jump in front of something when it's on the way up, I always like to have an idea of a level that I'm going to be in front of. If the turn happens at the first leg here, 68, that's fair enough. I'll take a quick little shot at it. It was sort of similar to what we were looking at in Tesla. at that 780, which I kind of wish I'd hung on to that one. It did break that 80 mark, so I got the first out for the scalp, and then the second half of the position, it breaks that 780 on me. I just got into C3AI at that 68 level, guys, so that's what my first look is going to be. I think there's another level that's probably going to be here at that 70 for sure, but it's been under the radar. You got to keep in mind where this has come from. Sorry, on the daily chart, guys. It's been absolutely crushed, and it's trying to make its way back. Clearly, I think, look, I'd be more interested in a breakout long and be confident with it if it was actually above 72.50. So until that price, I'm likely to favor the short in the day trade. If you got the bottom, fantastic. You're in the middle of a nice run here. Double bottom as well at 60 even, but it's already come a good 15% from, or 15% or so from that, or maybe just a little bit shy of that. So 68 short, I'll probably take 2 cracks at it. 70 would be that second level on C3AI.
Okay, yeah, so we're just cruising right now. We're waiting to see if we can get more Palantir to the downside. I did want to check out, wow, Fastly's running. Let's check out QS. I'm debating getting out of Q. Okay, well, I mean, my last buy was 41. I just bought it the other day, 41.80, something like that. So we're up a little bit on that one, but I'm getting to be a little tired of QS here. I thought it would have wow, okay. We bought the other day at 41, went up to 44 there. Oh man, like this is suffering here on some of these plays because should have got out there, but whatever. My average price is now 45. I had some 49s or 49.80s, something like that. It ripped up to 70. That was on earnings. Like we bought it right down here, right before earnings, and then it rips up. We were 100% right. Like this is my first buy down here, 50. Went all the way to 70. We thought like, okay, we're gonna go back upside and make a lot of money, but that was punched in the face quickly, and then now we're right back down to this level. It looks like we're making a bottom on QuantumScape. I thought this was a nice bump there because of Volkswagen coming in and dropping that 200 million, but right now it's just right back to the downside. I'm not sure about this one, guys. If I can get back to 51 and then get out alive, I'll do that on QS. So just to give you guys a little bit of an update on my play for QS there, I want to get out of it. If it gets back to 50, we'll see. Hopefully it gaps above and then I don't have any choice but to make money, but we'll wait to see on that one. Palantir still, nice little move back to the upside. Again, we'll see if it can take out 25.10. And then JP Morgan, we let it go all the way back up, guys. I mean, it broke down through VWAP. We did take some out. We're holding a very, very small piece. It's actually 10%. So we are holding something, and it's right at this level. I want to go short again here on JP Morgan, but we could possibly be wrong. 153.60 will tell us we're wrong. What's up, B?
Microvision, guys, just popping up. Apparently some deal-making chatter. Wouldn't be the first time, but deal-making chatter floating around on the interwebs about this one. MVIS, 14-ish%. Look at the volume, though, coming in right now, guys.
Oh, wow. That's, I mean, I'd like to see what the rumor is in terms of the deal. But we talked about CCL, that I would not take it that third time and average back into it. It puts in a higher low. That's a key thing. If it couldn't break 28 on that little move, we talked about that opening range bottom. I wouldn't load back into it that 28.30 range. It breaks the high of the day. We take out the last 20%. That's a structure that I like to work with here. I mean, certainly you can short a stock and play the range, but when it shows you some strength, you've got to be able to get out. Now, there is a chance at a jailbreak, and I sort of look back to this level that it's at right here, like the 28.35. You go back into there's all kinds of chop in this range, and if it gets above 50, there's room to 29, guys. So if it gets to that 35 to 50 range and can sort of hang out, make some consolidation, I think that's where you get your break to the even dollar on CCL. If I can go back to Wells Fargo, you just mentioned, sorry, Sean, you just mentioned JP Morgan, sort of fighting for the name there. Wells Fargo basing out. Now, I thought, you know, maybe this would be a little bit higher at like 39.85 or 39.80 that we'd be doing this, but if it tries to roll over literally at the same price that I shorted it the first time at that 70 mark, I might have to get in just a little bit early here. It's trying to press. I want to see if I can get a better short than this, so I'm waiting around for this like 75 to 80 area to pop in, and then I can try to jam some shares in. But if it turns here, I might have to pick up 65s instead. Either way, I'm looking for the short next. The one I wanted to long is long gone, unless it pulls back here. And I don't think Goldman Sachs is doing that anytime soon.
We're going to wait on Coinbase as we have a 27-cent winner right now on Palantir. And our JP Morgan, we've averaged into it, so we're going to wait to see. That was a good average because we could have just got out there at 153 or 152. Yeah, 153, but we didn't. So, okay, we'll wait on that one for sure. That's Coinbase coming through soon. I did want to look up Coinbase right now just to show you guys what it looks like here. This is what it looks like. Nothing. Someone's bidding $40,000. Someone's offering $299.50. This is just what it is right now. This is no indication of anything. We will find out the time. We know that the indicated price was 250, so you can see that right there. So we may open up around that 250. Remember, it's a direct listing, which means that they can sell. There's no new shares created. They're selling current shares that are on board. So you could see some selling here in coin right off the top. So that's something that both of us looking at for sure here on Coinbase to start the day. So we'll see what does happen, but that's Coinbase waiting around for something. CCL we've talked about. Let's go over to GameStop a little bit here. We haven't talked about GameStop, and welcome to the show if it's your first time. We have a lot of fun on here. If you can't tell, we also try to make a little bit of coin for you guys, and I think we're doing that. So good for us on that today. But here goes GameStop. We haven't traded it today. It does get a big move off the open. No idea why, but that goes to 157 from 143. So you almost go like 8% up there. And then now it's fading right back in. So I don't really see too many key levels other than the fact that we could, I mean, look to yesterday, where we bounced off this VWAP yesterday, 140. So if we can get a 140 break, that would interest me a little bit more in GameStop.
Yeah, I can tell you, I was interested in Nikola today, but you can't short strength if there isn't any. So much for there being a pop now. Always try to clean up your orders if you're managing too much. I mean, obviously, if I wanted to short the top, I'm not just gonna leave orders out there. If it's gonna pop 50 cents on me right here, you don't want to get that kind of a fill. If it moves 15 pennies into the open or 20 cents, yeah, you take that little short into strength, but might have to sell some bottoms here in Nikola. I look at like this 12. It was previously the pre-market low area, call it ish, at 1240. I think shorting in front of that might be the only play here. It's sort of similar to buy high, sell higher. Sometimes you got to sell low and buy back even lower. Brendan?
This one we mentioned yesterday. NVCR had a $120 range on the day yesterday. Just breaking back above this little pivot here, 190 on a volume spike. So watch out up here, 201, 202. A little bit of resistance from yesterday afternoon, NVCR.
Okay, so you're going to see right now Bitcoin is starting to fall back down. Welcome. Good to see everybody here today. I mean, we're getting the numbers back up. We hit 200,000. I've been tweeting like a madman. Thank you so much. We enjoyed a beautiful Chardonnay from the province of Chablis yesterday. I don't know if it's a province or a territory. We'll have to ask my main man who knows everything about wine. I'll talk to him afterwards. We had salmon last night, so I couldn't open the Barolo. That'll be tonight. We also have some Chateauneuf de Pop, apparently my wife's favorite. So we'll wait for that one to come through tonight, hopefully. But we're not trying to drink that much. We're just trying to celebrate. Normally we have a bottle of wine Friday night, maybe Saturday, once the kids, well, I don't care if the kids are in bed or not. Okay, 63,000 there to the downside. You are seeing Bitcoin come off. So I just want to bring that to your attention. We talked about it earlier on in the show that we made this 65K high. Now you're back down about at 1.5. So watch out there on Bitcoin as it continues to fall. That will give me back over to Mara. Mara. I'm still watching some of my trades here. Palantir just mooning, so that's fantastic. And then JP Morgan looks like it'll come out at 153.60. This is Mara. Look, following Bitcoin today, we just showed you the Bitcoin chart. This is what I want to bring to your attention. If Bitcoin can rally now, Mara just made a beautiful bottom, so a breakthrough 47.50 on a Bitcoin rally. I like Mara. I have to tell that to you because, hey, if we look back and Mara's all the way up here, then you'll be like, what the hell? 47.50 right now on a Bitcoin bump. If we can get that, I like Mara long right now.
Oh, it's interesting because $5 on SOS, it just came all the way back. And I was looking at Silvergate, which was pulling back to the upside. I feel like that's a better sell opportunity. But SOS, I think that's a key level of that 5, especially if we do get that break that you just talked about, Sean. But if it holds, it's a bit of a rollover play. And both SI was trying to get up to VWAP. And I would say same thing here, tight stop on SOS. So I like SOS for a day trade. You'll see the spread on SI. Not much of a good, it's just not a day trading stock, more of a buy and hold swing kind of thing. Brendan?
All right, this is only the first of many, I assume, that we will get, but here we go. 340 indicating, guys, on coin, up from 250. That is, again, just the first indication, guys.
So like my order's already in there for 500. So wherever it goes, I'm going to be going long. So as long as it doesn't print above 5 bills, your boy's long Coinbase at some point today. Just a matter of when it comes out. So good open there. I mean, it was 250. So it's like you said, what price? 340. So that's like 25 going to 34. I mean, it's not a huge number there. I'm not worried at all about that. But we'll see. It's going to be a spicy open, that's for sure, on Coinbase. Other than that, we absorbed a little bit there. Palantir, like I said, still.
My hero.
happy. Oh, you're a hero. Thank you, Valeria. That's very nice of you. Yeah, so 24. Here we go, man. We're still holding a piece. Let's go. We're mooning on Coinbase. Maybe on Coinbase. We're mooning on Palantir, and we're heading the other way right now on JP Morgan. So, hey, man, everything's happy over here. Let's go.
Yeah, I just got, like I said, we wait around for Wells Fargo back a little bit higher. I just got some shares at 79, and I picked some up first at like 71, got some at 79. I got an average price now of 75s. I do still like the idea of taking more. You know, it did put in that lower high. This is what we got off the open. It was 85 that had put that lower high before the flush. The same thing happens. I take some out in front of 50, sort of rinse and repeat the action from earlier on in the session. Do want to go back if I can to that SOS just to revisit. Apparently, we usually have shortable shares in SOS. We don't, so I try to get some there. I'll have to see how much it is to pay for the shorts on SOS. So I did not get into the position because I did not get to pay for shorts. That's on me. I should have prepared. That's me. I know it was going to be in play today, so I should have checked to see what the price was.
Yep. Okay, that doesn't really matter, Neil. Don't worry. You'll get it again. I mean, there's lots of opportunities today, I think. Anyways, guys. Donkey Kong, yeah, I see you there, Christopher Chow. What up, Christopher Chow? I see you there. DraftKings, let's go check out Donkey Kong quickly. I'm loving some Donkey Kong. We got out at 70. I did not buy back in. Did not. So I'm still long everything. Not everything, but my main position there on DraftKings. Okay, up to 60.50. I don't think I missed that much here, Christopher. It's a nice little move upside, but again, very, very choppy. I don't really consider this a miss other than right here. We did come down, we barcoded a bit, and then we took off. So that was a definite miss down here off of the low of the pre-market. If I only put my pre-market back to 7:30, I don't really care what happens before then. So 7:30, we go back there. So that was the low. I have no idea where it was before that, but we used that spot. Not only that, but it's also 59 and 3/4. So that was definitely a missed opportunity. Thank you so much there, Christopher Chow, for bringing that to my attention. But that was a missed opportunity there on DraftKings, as it doesn't get much cleaner than that. It's still up that 1.29%, 1.92%. Penn, on the other hand, today, same thing. So Penn straight to the upside. It had the very, very similar. A 102 break was cash on Penn. So either way, man, missed opportunity there, but good look by you guys noticing that.
And the price ended up being 1/3 of a cent, which is about as close to free as you're going to get on SOS. No, I did get in. I kind of was joking that I said I wouldn't get the trade. I mean, I was joking. SOS is going to make tons of volume here today, 20 million shares. Yeah, we're going to be able to get it off that 5 area. You're still getting a bit of a pullback. And I'm looking at the overall market. NASDAQ pulling back in here, but a bit of an inverse, because when the NASDAQ was going up, you see the banks go the other direction. So you're seeing a bit of a press here in Wells Fargo. Been holding off once we broke that 85. Look out for the top. Now 95 is the current high. It's that 40 level that we were watching all morning long. Now keep in mind, every single one of the banks had fantastic earnings, so it was a blowout. Just looking for the weakness, particularly for me in Wells Fargo. And then if we're going to get the push up here in Wells, look at what, I got to cancel that order on Goldman Sachs. I'm not going to get 336. But Goldman Sachs still pressing those highs. If this were to roll back over, I'd probably short more shares of Wells Fargo in front of that high and not wait around until the mid-90s to do so, guys. But it's looking relatively strong there. And to come back to Tesla, yeah, I got shook out. This is why you earn pink shorts on Tesla, because I took the scalp in front of VWAP. What I probably should have done, not probably should have done, which I always say, is if you get wicked out of something like this and it immediately rejects and gives you the same price range here, right? So with this little bounce, this little tiny green candle on the 1 minute chart, it gives you that same little bounce. Could have got that short right back in at 776, 777, and then I would be hanging on for this move. So, try the fade in Tesla. It's not always the easiest short to do, but you always have to make sure you're refining your position and trying to improve in your approach. That's what I'm trying to do there with Tesla. SOS, I mean, it's only gone down like 3 or 4 cents here. If it cracks, I'll get some out, because I should be scalping this thing. Some out in front of like 90, like 5 or 6 pennies, and then we'll work it down to that low of the day at 480. Just as long as we're trying to get back or hold below that mark that you mentioned there on spot Bitcoin, which you should be watching if you're trading SOS or any of these names.
Guys, take an Uber for a ride. Just have fun in it. Just make sure you're wearing a mask. Make sure you're safe. But we just paid for an Uber ride, so Uber's on me here, guys. We just went long 60.90, 61. What the hell was that? 61.02. So we averaged in. We take a 61 there. It comes all the way back down. We take it. We take a 60.90. We get out at 60.15 right away for 20 cents. Now we're holding the rest. 20 cents in the money here on Uber. Happy as hell with this trade right now. That's a good one for sure. And then we have our love of our life, Palantir, still trying to make moves upside. Sorry about that, my wife is, but the stock I love is Palantir. Taking it to the upside here, man, my kids. 25.15 upside, still going, but now pulling back in. Look at the NASDAQ coming down here, guys. So look at what happens to Uber when that happens. The NASDAQ cracks lower, man, we are going to be in trouble. This is why we're pretty light. There it is. Okay, so we got another bid now. We're gonna go longer here in the 80s if we can get it on Uber. And then we're gonna use, I'm not holding this one. We're gonna drop it if it breaks down below 70. So another in on Uber. Let's see if we can be right once again here. See if this one will run back above 61 and we'll cash some out on that right now. So good trade here on Uber temporarily as we cashed it out. Let's see if it wants to go higher. There we go. Now we're loaded up. We're gonna give this back down. That was a good trade for us down there to 85. Now we're gonna see if it holds this 70, guys.
Yeah, and like I said, we got some SOS. I scalped it at 91s, and now looking at Bed Bath & Beyond, look at the bottom here. It's down 15%, but these stocks can fall further. 23.68 is the low of the day. If it cracks a low, I'm going to take a quick little shot at it. It still hasn't been able to break out of the range at 24.50, so on any kind of a rubber band play or bounce, you're looking 24.50s on Bed Bath & Beyond. They're getting absolutely crushed, but low of the day is looming, and the market is falling, so I have to have a look at that 23.68 break.
Look at Uber. We did it again, guys. So we're taking the Ubers. Now we're paying for a few more Ubers. So we'll floss it off here as it just goes back to the upside. My largest position, I told you what it was right here. 85 was the largest position. So that's why you're seeing my average price now. Even though we've averaged in, my average price is now 85. We took big position there for me anyways at that 85 level. So we'll see now if it comes back up to 61.20, 61 even, 61.10, something like that. For that, we're really happy. And then look at JP Morgan. We're starting to fall down finally. So do we have any bids on JP Morgan? No, we do not. So let's get some out right now. I'm happy to take this 80, maybe even like 890s right now. We are short at 13. So here comes JP Morgan to the downside. Let's see if we can capture yet again, just another winner for you. Brendan has all the winners all the time. What's up, Brendan?
Definitely small caps. Let's talk about small caps. Very, very strong today. We had this one we mentioned right before the open. 190 I talked about, and then 2, which was that high from aftermarket yesterday. Also said couldn't find any reason why this thing was up. So I took 2 shots at this. First one didn't work out, but $2 ended up being the spot. Again, the resistance from yesterday, we're back down to 160, 165 on UTSI. Bit Digital, BTBT, crypto name. Back through 1850 was a pretty good long up to this high from aftermarket yesterday, but look what happened. Straight to the southbound side, there was a huge offer that showed up just in front of 19, and they were just absorbing shares, just as many as they could. So right back down through this 18. If it gets back to 18, we'll revisit that one on the short side, BTBT. And then GALT is putting me to sleep real quick, 293 above that. We're down to 250 right now for GALT, guys.
I mean,
and just ran into more shares of Wells Fargo, but also watching spot here, guys, and looking at SOS, it is lacking some follow through, guys. So this is why I'm scalping for sure. Now I already said $5 is going to be a bit of a stop. If it comes back down and retests like 90s, I might even scalp some more off in that range. Wells is back to flat, and then if you go back to C3AI, it is still continuing. There you go. It's still continuing to push. So first leg, we took the tight stop. It then goes to the next leg, which is that 70 area. Rejects off of 70. So you are getting an actual pullback off that second price area that we talked about. Sometimes you wait for that. If I get burned the first time, I usually wait for a selling to come in off of that key level instead of jumping in front of the sword again. It's now finally happening. So this 69 to 69.50 range in front of that clear wick at 70 makes some sense for me on C3AI. So we're going to jump into that short there. And Wells finally starting to go. JP and Wells, I think we're both looking short sides of that trade. Goldman's super, super strong. Should have had that long to bounce those off.
Yeah, we're going to tweet this out because I don't know if you guys can see, well, you can, but I mean, look what Uber's doing. I mean, today has just been an absolutely perfect day for me. Everything we're doing right now is just cash money. We'll tweet this out. There we'll put that if you guys want to follow on Twitter. You can definitely do that. Valeria's been dropping the links in the chat, and I'll do it again. Yeah, we got to look at NEO. I see you there, Jeff, in the chat. We will have a quick look at NEO in a minute, but for right now, man, I mean, Uber just Beautiful. Now we're almost out. Again, we have 20% left of Uber, so cash that one out in a good trade for me there. Palantir falls right back in. We're just waiting for this to happen. So now Palantir comes back in. We're holding 5% less of our initial trade. I guess, yeah, about 5% of that trade. We do have some bids here, I hope, to get longer on Palantir as it's trying to go. Uber's trying to go. And then JP Morgan right now, I don't know how hard it's trying, but we are short at 13 right here, waiting for it to see about what it wants to do to the downside. Hopefully it can go, and then we'll get out in the 90s, and then we'll try to hold for a little bit lower than that. But I am interested in possibly getting some more short on the upside of this play. So Uber, probably cash out a little bit more now. The market does look pretty weak. I think it's worth it getting cashed out here on Uber just a little bit more.
Yeah, and it goes a little bit more of a flush. I said a little bit too many times. You put it in my head there, Sean. A little bit more of a move on SOS as it cracks down to like that 485 range. Going to hang on through the low of the day break 480. Just took a while for it to start that rollover. It is what it is. And I got into AI at 69.05. So we'll look to see if that can continue its weakness. Some of this move to the downside, I mean, Tesla is at the forefront here, getting back down to that 750 area. So you start to think about if we can hold up somewhere. And you look at this cluster at around 740, and if you look at yesterday's action, this was just after lunchtime. It spent a lot of time in this range, it's like 735 into 740. So if Tesla presses down into there, that's where I'd look to like maybe get a bit of a snapback trade to the long side. So we've done that a little bit before, just waiting for it on Tesla. I got shook out of the short. Doesn't mean I have to chase that bottom bid buy action too early. It's going to be 35 to 40. That's the area that I want to press down into before I go into the long. Is it really that cold, Miss V? Get some likes in here, because like she's shivering over here, and warm her up with the love. So get some likes and some subs. I'm sure she'll love that to get that action going. One more name to get to. I know CCL. I have not made a trade since we said we would not average into it. But CCL presses into 28.50, and now is starting to round back down. So it's showing a little bit of weakness here off of that top. This is why we didn't average in, because we thought it would likely break that and then look for another shot here, guys. As the market tries to come down, I'm looking to see if we can't be like 28.35 or so on a bit of a breakdown in CCL. But there goes Wells through 40 even. So Wells Fargo with the 40 even breakout. I get out, but didn't get the long trigger. So 40 breaks on Wells, and of course I only get out of the short and don't get the long.
We'll go chicken dinner winner on JP Morgan as we just got, we sat there. What a great out. That was 92 or 91, whatever it was, right there. We put that bid right here, man. Like, it's funny because we'll hit the chicken dinner winner, but it's only 25 cents, 30 cents there. But now we get short again. You see what we're doing here? Like short again and out. Like we're just really trying our best here to scalp this trade out. That was such a great out there. So we'll take that 30 cents and we'll reload the short. So good on us for doing that. We'll just see if it makes some little bit of sense for us to do that. And then there you go again. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure what else we can do here with Palantir except for buy, and then get out for higher when it goes higher. So that's what we're doing right now. We'll put a bid in the 90s and see if we can get out now in the 90s off this long. So again, the success just coming through for us today on PLTR. This is not a heavy position. Too many times we're testing this bottom. I am a little nervous. So we'll try to I'll take one more bid here just to make sure that I'm not telling you guys incorrectly. I have a bid in the 70s, a bid in the 60s, and then we'll wait to see if it drops down below 50. But we are not, I repeat, we are not putting in the same amount of risk that we were earlier. It's too many times down here. I don't love it as much as I used to, but we are long Palantir, and we're long at 77, and we just cashed it a third out, actually. That was a third out right there at 87. So we took a dime on a third. I'm going to take another piece out here, 95 if we can, and then we'll wait for the rest to come in. But I'm going to go a third out in the 90s. We'll see if it goes higher, and then we'll average in back into the 50s and see if that one wants to go. JP Morgan still floating around, and Uber still floating, so we'll wait.
And of course, there's that 40. When I said we would try to reverse long off this when we did our preparation in the morning, this is why you guys should always tune in. I missed it. You can see my bid, got out of the short, and then did not get the 40 break long on Wells, which is what we said we do all morning long. Of course, it's going to be a key level. You're going to see how well that does work out to the break. For the breakout to the upside, so Wells is gonzo. Look, if you have a key level, obviously you got to get out of the short side. You don't always want to reverse, but sometimes it's just too good to be true. Sometimes the short is like just short at any price because you can short anything on Nikola and looks like it's continuing to flush. That stock cannot seem to get out of its own way. Now red. So all that good news that it had, buy in Tesla. 750 right now. I'm still looking for 740. So if that breaks, I do still like the long in front of that price. And of course, C3 AI now about 60 cents in the money. I'll scalp a little bit of this off. The first time through didn't work on C3. The second time, a bit of a charm at the better level. So we do wait for it to sell off a little bit at 69, take the 50 cents, and then we'll tend to take $1 to $1.50 if you can get back to VWAP.
Like WFC, first of all, Palantir coming down, we got more shares. Like WFC, the only one that has a star here, and I don't have the fill, 40.25, it's right in the middle for that long. No, I mean, that was so obvious that I'm honestly, like, I'm beside myself. We should have hit that one. We talked about why we like WFC long through 40.25. Unbelievable why we missed that. I talked about it all pre-market, Brendan. That's unfortunate.
That is also trading, unfortunately. Just to note, guys, some of these NFT stocks just popping up, doing some volume here. So this one, WKEY. There's also TKAT as well. I just noticed popping up on volume, guys.
I'm just, like, that was going to be a big trade there, that log through 40.25. I had it in there and I canceled it, and it's right here. It's in my, I don't even want to look at my order log. I can just see it there. But that was probably going to be my biggest trade there. I like that one. I like the Facebook short at 308.50, and then that took off on me today as well. So we have nothing but winners on board today, like literally nothing but winners, but still a lot of missed opportunity. But hey, that's why I love this business, man. There's always tomorrow, and there's always later on today, including Coinbase, which is coming hard for us very, very soon. And so is Palantir. This stock makes a move to the downside there, and now we're going to see if it can come back up. We're going to give it to this 50 level. If it breaks, we go.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know when it's going to happen, but right now, 350 indicative, 4 million shares paired in volume. Total open interest is like 4.5 million. I think it'll obviously get a little bit bigger than that. So it is what it is. It's currently staying at 350 open, which is exactly what it was before. I mean, it could be 11 o'clock, it could be 12 o'clock. Quite frankly, it could be even later than that. And we've seen worse than that, Sean. So I'm not getting my hopes up just yet that we'll be able to trade it, but we'll update you where it looks like the price is going to open up for you. It's a bit of consolidation, shouldn't be a surprise. This is where I shorted the first time on T3AI around that 68.50. So the fact that it's spacing out here, fine. The second time through, I tend to be a little bit more patient. Now you're starting to see it come back in, guys. So Tesla bouncing off 750. I definitely like 740 a little better. Looks like it's found a bit of a bid. If it flushes through, I'll take my shot at that long. I didn't want 50s, I wanted 40s. And there's T3AI trying to break through 68. It's a very, very thinly traded stock, but there's a bit of a bid here at 68 that it has to crack through. It's that momentum, maybe some stops that are through on the longs, that'll get me out, hopefully, on the south side of that 68 on C3.
I think everybody's waiting. Like I said, guys, the market was going to come off today in the NASDAQ. We knew that. That's why I wanted that Facebook short. And then the only problem was, and I told you why, it's coming off because of Coinbase. So you have to wait to see where Coinbase is going to come out. A lot of people taking money out of some of these high flyers, not Palantir, but taking money out of Facebook, out of Softy, out of Apple, out of Roblox. We can check back in on Roblox a little bit here. Softy to the upside right now, only flat on the day. So that was good. It was down. It's made its way back up. Let's check out to see if Roblox tends to be true or not on that pullback today. We thought, yes, wow. Okay, I mean, again, we talked about this off the open. I said Roblox was in for a hurt today, and I didn't even know about this move to the downside right now, but nice little move for Roblox. Maybe it's time to start picking it up. JP Morgan finally goes back into the money right now. We are short at 28s. So a nice little pickup there. We waited and didn't get that. Now we'll wait to see if it goes to the downside even more. JP Morgan, let's see if it wants to rock and roll. What's up, Brendan?
All right, we had a couple of little tiny financial stocks popping up yesterday on decent volume. Just saw this one, another one, EQOS. Just tagged 13 up there. Don't see any headlines, but almost 13% for EQOS. Still seeing 350 for coin. Just as an update, it's 10:30. Let's get an update on how things in Europe are shaping up. There's an hour left over there, Miss V. What's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are mostly in a positive territory, supported by upbeat earnings. SAP trading in Germany is up more than 2% after reporting first quarter results that showed a rise in cloud sales. Back to you.
Yeah, SAP, you can trade that one as an ADR in the US as well, guys.
And we do get the fill, guys, so we'll go with, I'm going to use this one a lot today, hopefully, because it definitely fits. Those are Bitcoins falling around there. We got that C3AI. Got all the way down to the bottom end of this range. You look at that bottom wick when I first had it short. This is 67.80 that it got to. Where am I getting out on that push? Right at that same price. So we always file those away in the back pocket to take advantage of them where we can. I had been sitting in SOS, and look, I said I'd get a little more aggressive in front of that 90s. I did. It then came all the way to the low of the day, or at least close to it. that 82 and is bouncing back. So, it's one of those where I can rinse and repeat in front of VWAP and 5 even if I want to. More of a scalp style trade. Does fantastic volume, guys, which we got to take advantage of every single time you can. Tesla continues its bounce. So it's not to say that it won't get there. But the bounce off of 740 is not going to happen without breaking 750 first. I'm not sure this is necessarily done, the selling, but you see what's happening in the market in front of Coinbase. Lots of names pulling back in. I'll be very, very patient picking up longs in any of these types.
You saw the money go flying through. Now we'll just come jumping through because, again, I'm just going to stick with the names that's working for me. Uber positive today. Palantir, you could see what's happening on Palantir right now, monster. And you could see what's happening on JP Morgan. So, I mean, if you're not excited about trading today, then you're in the wrong business because this has just been a fantastic, look at it, look at this. Bang, bang, right back up, we're higher. I don't know what to tell you guys. You can see the happiness on said face, and what's happening with Palantir. I mean, like a glove, we say if it don't fit, please acquit. But it's fitting right now. Palantir is fitting exactly what we thought would happen with it. And then here we go, JP Morgan, right back to where we were the last time here on JP Morgan, and another 40-cent win, 40 cents on JP, 50, 15, but now 25 cents on Palantir. Uber does fly back in, man. We did get out there. We are still positive on Uber, man. We got out at that 70 break. Good thing as it comes all the way back down. We still are hella positive on Uber today. It's not close to Palantir, but it's not far away. Uber, a good trade for us, but I'm going to get out some more of this Palantir. As now, guys, it's just coming out right now. I mean, this is all the money coming. So now we have a little bit more to play with on Coinbase IPOs. We'll wait for that to come out. It's looking like there's some size here at 25. Does not bother me. We are long now. Look where we're long Palantir. You can see at the bottom, 64s. I have 2 positions on, both 30 cents in the money. Let's get out some JP Morgan.
Yeah, and Wells Fargo, Gonzo, 40.90 it got to the top side there, 40.75, of course. Look, you're going to see the break that happened through that high of the day at that 40 even, but it is worth noting that it had been trailing. You look at the top that it put in, and it's not a surprise that you get right into that 40.90, and that is exactly the high in the pre-market that we saw before. So that still is going to be a bit of a resistance point at 41 even. We can sort of throw the old levels out and bring the new one in, and that's going to be 40.90 to 41, that particular price area. It was probably good for a bit of a rollover. But I'd flip to being bullish at that 40 mark and kind of stick with that idea on Wells, and I want to be picking it up. And I look at this support at that 40.40 to 40.50 that happened the last couple of sessions, and that's where I'd like to buy a dip if it happens in Wells Fargo. Like with Tesla, with the market trying to come back, the NASDAQ just bounced here. I'm not going to chase, take the levels I like. I'll pop the bids in front of that 50 level, and I'm not going to chase it up in the 70s.
I'm just tweeting this out because I think it's important that those of us that watch it, and I've admitted that I didn't get this, but this WFC trade, and I'll tag Trader TV Live with this one. Very, very important just to note that, look, whether or not you miss something, you get it, you miss it, whatever it happens to be, here it is right here. I'll call it up here on Twitter so you guys can see this. Like my sticky note, we had 40.25 pegged there. There's the break, and it's from yesterday's level. And you see, there was nothing. It was straight to the upside there. You had no clear path violations, nothing like that. Straight to the upside on WFC. We missed it, but it was at yesterday's level of 40.25, all thanks to the sticky note there. And the sticky note is getting a lot of love, guys. Like today, not 100 likes on the sticky note, and there it is. I'm just showing you guys it so that we can have some validation on this sheet there. There's WFC right there, 40.25. We haven't even looked at this. And what did I say about Palantir? Look long back to 25. That's exactly what happened. JP Morgan, we've been shorting this, and then Nikola, we haven't had to worry about it because it hasn't gone up, like Neil said there. Neil's looking to short into weakness. I was looking to play strength, but it's only been weak. There's been no opportunities, I don't think, to short much anyways. We did get out of JP Morgan again. Everything's profitable on the board today. So, hey, I hope you're having just as good of a day, guys.
Yeah, I haven't been able to rinse and repeat in SOS. Whoops, there we go. Unfortunately, just tried to tick up here. And the thing about a stock, it's in it's a $5 stock. You're going to want, I shorted 97s. I want 97, 98. I don't necessarily want 95, 96, which maybe as it shows some weakness, I can stretch out a little bit, but it got to 96. Really didn't even fill anybody up here, guys. So unless you were sitting 94, 95, you weren't catching the fill there on SOS. I think it's solid for the rinse repeat. As long as we're not making crazy breakouts, I think we'll be okay. The last trade that we put on, of course, that C3AI, Good one. We gave you the reasons why we like that to get out of that bounce, because on an upward trending stock, if you're shorting it, you got to be thinking about where the dip buy is going to come in, right? And so where do you think? Everyone's looking at this little pullback area right below 68. They're looking at VWAP. That's why I get out of it. If we continue to push and retake that 70 level, yeah, C3 has room to run. We looked at the daily chart. 7250 is definitely a key. So even if it presses through 70 even, it's got some room to go even higher than that. So I'll be very, very careful shorting it around 70, but 70 is a good level, and I happen to like it, so I'll be all over it. Galt, yeah, Brent, I hope you did well on Galt, because this one stung for me in the pre-market, and I wish I'd sort of hung on to it, but I always have it out. I took it out at 290 on that break. I even said to you guys, I think I might have made the top on Galt, but either way, it wasn't. The top was 94. It's now back at 250, so if I got back into that, it would have been fantastic. I didn't. Sure, the winners and losers. My worst stock of the day is one that I wasn't even in past 9 o'clock. Right at 9 o'clock, I got out. It was a pre-market trade. They're going to happen to. Bit of a different story. I'm never trying to hold to the Dickens in the pre-market. I think that's crazy. And speaking of hold to the Dickens, come on, Tesla. I almost wanted to break 750. It's not like I'm not betting against Tesla. I like Tesla, but I wanted to break 750 so I can get a test of the level that I want, that 735 to 740. If Tesla goes down, that's where I wanted to pick it up. It's trying to do double bottom off 750 here. If it bounces, it's probably worth a tight stop look for a long position, but I much prefer the level a little bit lower.
Yeah. I mean, right now, I'm just kind of waiting, man, and we'll just go dap up because look at JP Morgan. I mean, here we go to the downside. And again, we talked about the 152 level. It's coming back in right now. We'll see if it holds this 153. I'm still waiting, man. We've got a big short on this. It's 52 cents now in the money for us on JP Morgan, and I think it goes more. We've already tested these highs. It's failed. Look at this break. This is that 152 breakdown that we discussed earlier where we cashed in on that one. Average in, out. Take this out again. So it's just, I mean, what a fantastic day. This day just keeps on going for us here. Better and badder as we move. So let's just hopefully JP Morgan retests. I'm looking to get this out for $1.50. Like, I really think this 151.80 could be one of those levers. Thank you so much there, Christopher Chow, talking everything about DraftKings and the 100 Hong Kong there. Thank you so much. Took that. Yeah, you did take that. Good break. We'll talk about that break when we get back. But thank you so much to Christopher Chow for the super chat. Brendan at the big screen with, let me see what it is, Sector Watch.
Hey guys, yeah, one of those days where this board is a little bit deceiving. We are positive overall, but only 0.13%. This looks very, very positive right across the entire board, led by, I should say, the energy sector. Energy stocks, the entire thing here, nicely positive, 1+% gain for oil today. So all of the energy names in positive territory. Here's the banks led by Goldman right now, 3.78% to the upside. RJF, Morgan Stanley, WFC is here. Pick one, it's going to be higher. Insurance companies as well, also benefiting ahead of their earnings that will come in starting next week. Consumer discretionary names also having a bit of a bounce back after yesterday. CCL, 2%, RCL, NCLH, 1.8%. Some of the hotels here as well. Again, not huge moves, but overall, this group is definitely positive on the day. L Brands, GPS, GPC as well on the retail side of things. Even the automakers, GM and Ford, BWA here as well, all about 2% in positive territory. Far corner of the screen here, material stocks also among the leaders today. FCX, guys, 7.6% in positive territory. We talked about Discovery right off the bat this morning after the open. I noticed Credit Suisse still shopping big chunks of shares, 3% for K, 2% there for Discovery A shares. So a heads up there. Viacom, worth noting there, 2.8% to the upside in relation. 0.1%, guys, for the overall market. Back to you.
Going to take a first crack here at Tesla in front of that 750. Of course, like I said, I like that 735, 740 area a little bit better, but if it bounced off of that 750, I'd take a crack in front of it. So I do have 72 halves essentially here. Risk about $3 on this trade. See if you can't get back above that 55 on Tesla. I'm looking at Discovery here because, look, this is 40 even. Ignore this wick. The actual top here, because on the chart it says like 40, 38, but 40 even is a bit of a top. Again, if this one wants to go, I still think it has to get through 43, but it's showing some signs of strength. I do like that 40 break. 40.38 happens to the previous close. That's why you get that dark pool print up there. But I like the look of Discovery. If the volume picks up, there's a 40 break that could happen, and that was a key price on the way down. So it is worth noting this could come into play. The volume much lower than when this was going crazy in the past, guys. So I don't think you can sort of dig in as deep as you might have before. But Tesla just pressed up. I said if it got to that like 755 area. Again, you look at the top end of this range, like 55, 56. I always try to scalp a couple of bucks out of it. Now if it comes back down, I'll only buy again at about like 751-ish and change. So buy in the middle of the range, hold some at the top so I can buy some at the bottom. Usually you're going to get consolidation off these lows. That's what the NASDAQ is doing here. I mean, even the ES is, look, the ES is in a 6-handle range. 6-handle range. So I would actually expect that you might see some consolidation in Tesla. So if I can play the range before it bounces back up, I'll try to scalp as much as I can. Softens the blow if you happen to take a hit.
Yeah, softens the blow as well. Have some hydration, as my kids say, hydrate. Join Hydration Nation. And look, we have our feet up right now. Is that my sweater? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So right now, Palantir, and this is why we're chilling, man. This is a 40-cent win right here for Palantir. We still have it on. We've been talking about that all day for you. So there it is. And then JP Morgan right now retracing back down. We have this trade on. I'm just relaxing right now, guys. I mean, we have 2 trades on. They're big bangers and they're big winners on right now. So we're going to let this one smoke through a bit here. I'm still upset, like really upset about that WFC. And again, it's not that we're upset about it, but it's just, well, I am upset. Trophy. We'll keep raising that one every day. But yeah, we missed it. We missed that play. We missed also the Roblox move on the way down. We talked, maybe that was the bottom when I just talked about it there at 76. And then we did miss Facebook. I mean, I hate talking about stocks that we missed, but these are all positions that, again, we talked about them and I like them, but just don't have them on board right now. There goes Palantir, guys. I'm taking off another, like, I can't, again, to take one of Neil's lines here, like, this gift horse is just going, and it's like, this is no longer a horse, man. This is like a freaking gift elephant right now. Like everything that we're doing on Palantir every day looks like this, man. For me, it's buying the bottoms, it's trying to take a move off the open, waiting for it to fall, like whatever. We're planning out our trades, and I think if there's anything that we're trying to get to, this is what it is. Yeah, we're living the dream. Yeah, you're right, Trader Joe. Thank you for all your support as well. Living the dream out there. The sticky note has 100 likes and 10 or 11 or 12 retweets. So thank you so much for all that. If anything, guys, we're trying to get this show as popular as it can be. We already hit the VOV. Yesterday was Moet. Yesterday was Moet, but today's VOV. Neil has the Moet on his desk.
Like, I'll call it right now. The Moet was much nicer of a look, guys. It was very, very tasty.
Yeah, it was tasty.
We enjoyed it. Thank you guys for letting us enjoy it there. If I can, someone just got taken out for close to 250,000 shares on SOS. Down here at like 91, 92. I'm only interested in that because we still have the short from like 97. So, and I was going to average into it. I'm just going to go ahead and cancel that order. Someone sort of betting that big, they just got it run up in there. You know what? I'll just take it out if it breaks view up here. Not going to go with too high of a stop. I mean, it is what it is, but I just mentioned that part of the reason why I wanted to take Tesla off was so that we could play the range and get back in. It holds 752 here. I said I'd only take like 751s in front of that price, take the bottom end of the range in case the base is out. Of course, I miss it because it puts in a bit of a higher low. Try to be patient with this. The market's not doing a heck of a lot, right? So I don't want to chase it too high. I don't want to get too far away from my price here in Tesla, especially given the fact that I like an area just a tad lower than this on this name. And just to go back to C3, oops. I always think like tech stock should be NASDAQ. That's why my gut instinct is to type in NQ. But C3 AI pressing right through. No, I said I'm not going to short the same price again. 70 is the level on C3 AI. If it comes up to 70 and I get a shot at that, fine. 70 quarter is the high of the day. I can give it through that 70 quarter mark. And then from there, 72.50 was the next level up. So if you like the long in C3 AI, watch out for that 70.25.
I'm also going to tweet this out. And the reason why I'm tweeting all these things out is just for you guys, because I want to talk about this base. And I also want to talk to Kathy Wood here, because I'm going to tweet at her. If you guys want to retweet this, we'll see if we can get her on the show for sure. But here we go, guys. This has just been a good little level. We just took some out at 13. Now we're done. Now we're down to that 5%. You're going to see me do that quite often, where we get out of our positions. That goes right to VWAP there. I took it out at 13. It goes as high as 15, which VWAP was 19 or 20. I don't need to wait for that. Look where we're long. We're long 62 here. That's 40 cents in the money now on Palantir. 40 cents on JP Morgan. Like, we kick back and relax there, but why not? I mean, I don't need to overtrade. We have the names, man. We have the names today, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Everything making money. Now we just wait for coin. Let's just check back on it. Let's look to see what coin looks like right now. Unfortunately, that was a little bit of a trick. I knew what it looked like. Dead. Absolutely nothing. We're waiting here. We're just hoping here that it can open up. As I look, I don't see anything on the big board here from the NASDAQ or anything like that. So we'll wait to see. There's no timing. There's no nothing. I guess we could check out the imbalance locator for, I don't even know if it's up yet. For this, let's go here. Coin, there it is.
Should be up.
Yeah, so it's up. It's a 400,000 to sell right now. So you guys all thinking that this may go up. 400,000 shares to sell off open right now on coin. So that means it's going to open up. Let's just say it opens up at 250. Part of that print is going to be the sell. It doesn't mean that there's 400,000 to go into that selling price. It just, he needs to balance it out. So if this grows to like 1 million, 3 million, 5 million, then that will affect the price at where coin comes out, right? So this is not going to be done on the open. It's just part of this 5 million is already paired off. So we'll wait for Coinbase. I don't think I have time on here. No, I don't, but it doesn't matter. It's the only one being updated right now. Anything halted will come here too. SNDL, that's open and trading, so there's nothing there. You're going to see Coinbase right now with a sell.
Yeah, and speaking of halts, the only thing that on the halt board today is Discovery B, which, if anyone that ever looks at halt page, I know it's a good resource, but Discovery B is always on there because it's just really illiquid, and it's trust me, it's A that you want to be trading. Tesla continues to press, but it just broke the 55. You know what? Once it breaks out of this range, I'm probably not gonna. If it comes back down to 50s, that's not an average in that I'm gonna particularly like. Once it's trying to break through that 55, 56, now it's either gonna go to the 60s and give me like a $9, $10 winner, or we're gonna get that breakdown at 750. Brennan?
More rotation starting possibly here, guys. Just noticed Disney. Haven't talked about Disney for a while. This thing's been just asleep for the past couple of weeks, but Disney, guys, having quite the day here from 186 up to 190, consolidating at day highs as well for Disney.
I mean, I was looking, why am I still on Coinbase here? I have nothing to do right now because I'm just watching. I want Palantir lower before we do anything with that one. So nothing to do right here. I want to actually get out of some Disney. I just think it's seen its course, but it's up a nice little 2% now. So good look there, Brendo. We can look at a daily chart to see what's happening. This is 189.90. So that could be something there. We're well above VWAP. What a great move it was earlier on. And now let's look at the daily chart here on DIS. If I can find it, that's the 1 minute. Here's the daily. Ooh, why isn't this? Oh man, I got to clear this cache because I can't look at the 50 period if it doesn't data back. So I don't know right now about it, but you know, that high of 204, I don't think we get back there for a long time on Disney. I am a bear for Disney right now, but it's a nice move up 2.5%.
Yeah, I kind of think on a pullback, there's probably some other names are worth looking at, but yeah, I wouldn't be adding to Disney. But they can certainly take my money if they get some new product out there. And by that, I mean streaming. Of course, they have lots of other stuff there. But VTVT, I want to come back to this name because sometimes I'll be sitting in the short that just, it kind of goes down. We're in the money on it, then it does absolutely nothing. I got the bottom before. I got to at least think about throwing some bids down at that 310. It's probably not going to give me that 3 even without at least a test back to the upside. And if it does, it wasn't the 25s that I liked. That's where I was covering initially. You know, I'm only really shorting off of the high. So this is a no average in for me, particularly. It's a bit of a day 2 play here, guys. And we're getting close on Tesla. This wasn't the long that I wanted. It was the long that the market gave, which was off that 750. If it gets to that, if it breaks past 760 even, I do look back to this opening range bottom, 935, at like 764, 763 half, something like that. And I want to be out in front of it. It's a downward trend in the market in Tesla, and you see selling off coming into some names, which we've talked about. that have been attached to, I mean, I don't want to say directly related to, but attached to crypto on Coinbase Day. So not too much of a surprise. You're seeing a little bit of weakness in Tesla. If it ever breaks that 750, I would take another crack at it to the long side. I did, and again, like I said, I wanted to buy a bit of a dip in this consolidation range in Wells Fargo. Of course, it just continues to run. So again, I always cancel those orders because there's a point at which it's gone far enough that any dip that you buy, you'd probably want to buy it tighter up with a different stop, instead of if it now drops $1 from here, I just want to randomly pick it up. No, it's come and gone. You want to make sure you're cleaning up your order box and not getting adverse fills is the word I'm going to use for it there, guys. It's 10:50. I don't know when Coinbase is going to open. I don't know if it's going to be on the show. Just one other related name here. SOS still hasn't broken 5, so I'm still in that 97 short. Silvergate, we talked about some places where you might want to trim. Clearly, this was another one here, guys, but only down 3%. So as usual, the stock is just a little bit stronger than I always think.
Yeah, we're getting ready to do money talks with Brendan, and he's going to talk all about Bitcoin, so I'm not going to go over that. But it's hovering, man. It's 63, so he'll talk about that, and we'll have a quick look. I did want to talk about GameStop because it's like a mover today. It's moving around. Forget about the daily chart. I need to refresh that. I don't know why I don't keep doing that. But yeah, talk about a mover. Big move off the open, then right back down to 144, 145, guys, and then right back up to that exact same level. So we have to have a look at this thing if it gets back to 155. GameStop back to 155, maybe one of the best shorts you could find on board today. Again, I feel like there's money coming out. I mean, not at GameStop today, but I wonder if GameStop, when it opens, when Coinbase opens, do we see stocks like GameStop, AMC, I don't think Rocket, that's not important, come back down as new money going into Coinbase, possibly off open. So I like to see GameStop back at 155. That should be interesting. So we'll wait to see, but put that on our radar and just have a look at it on our watch list now. GameStop now on the watch list, guys. Brendan, I think we're ready, getting the thumbs up right now. So let's throw it back over to Brendan at the big screen. Money Talks. What's up with that Canadian dollar, Brendan?
Officially asleep, I would say, for the CAD. We can have a look at it. Just negative slightly today, but 79.75. It's been there for the entire week. Not a lot going on as far as the U.S. dollar index is concerned. We're seeing a little bit of weakness coming back in. Australia and New Zealand, big benefactors of that today. You can see full percent moves here for both the Aussie and the Kiwi, New Zealand dollar, to the upside, 71.4, 71.18. Turkish lira downside. We have Japanese yen to the downside as well. British pound was up about 0.5% earlier. It's come off back to about a quarter. I put Bitcoin up here because, yeah, record highs early on this morning. We're back below 64,000, but still a nice day for Bitcoin. Actually, just going negative on the day, 63,150. Ethereum. It was interesting to see that $1,000 investment 5 years ago. Ethereum would have been the better outcome. Ripple as well, 0.5%. That one's been leading over the past couple of days. Guys, back to you.
It's so funny because you use that example there for Ethereum, and obviously, I mean, that one's been ripping up. But you take some of these other coins. I don't know if you can do the math there, Brendan. We had some crazy mathematics there on Dogecoin going down from 0.0002. How many zeros did I say there? Anyways, it was below. And here's Dogecoin right now, guys. This is just a daily chart. This is what I'm talking about. This is where it was, 0.0002 forever. Basically, for all of 2020, this thing was well sub 1 cent. Sub 1 cent. Today opens up, it opened up to 14.50 there, like 14 cents 50, but now pulling back a little bit. It's funny how dramatic a pullback looks there. That's the daily chart. We can look at the 1 minute. Look, crypto has been falling. That's Dogecoin there. And then the one that I've been talking about, shout out to Shakib, shout out to anybody else that has been with me here on Cardano. I think Shakib, I mean, look, I was talking about it down here. Nobody really knew about it, so I don't blame anybody for not buying it here. This 20 break was great. I added to my position there, and I didn't buy anything all the way up. I was, when it's down here, you put the money in and you just watch it grow. I should have bought some more. But there it is there. Shakib did buy some. When I was talking about it, when it was at 120, I said, watch out for a pullback down to 1. It got as low as 103, 104. So if you liked it at 1, you got to like it at 105. And then a rip up there. Today, it made new highs, I think, Was that today? I guess it was. Yeah, this is a daily chart. So all-time highs today of 156 on Cardano. I think this one, I mean, we already talked about XRP there, but I think ADA just has such a huge runway. I love what they're doing there, and that's ADA, but GameStop right back to 155 here, guys.
Yeah, I mean, you talk GameStop, you're like close to my heart when it comes to like thinking about shorting off those highs. It's too good of a double top not to look at. And C3 AI, by the way, it doesn't give you, and again, if you're going to go counter trend, again, I do NASDAQ, if you're going to go counter trend here, you got to have a level that you like. It was almost a stall here. It was right here off of 70, didn't quite press into the high. I was like ready to go. And I'm like, just not nearly weak enough. It wasn't a good enough consolidation. There wasn't enough liquidity. And then it pops up. So a bit of a sign of strength. I'll get away from that one. And then I like GameStop around this level at same 156. Now the high is above that, so you do have to give it some. We can't just plop a stop right at the high of the day and think it's going to be a good idea. Give it to that next even level, or that's 57.50 area, guys. But if it presses any higher, I'm looking at that 156. Tesla's still in the money here, and the idea is, I've already scalped a little bit off, as it pulls back. Key, can we hold this 55, 56? If it does, it's going to make some sense for me to take some off in front of 60s, because it could get a bit of a breakout on the 760 level on Tesla. But keep in mind, it is a downward trending stock. That's why I scalped some out. Each time I did get burned on the short, I didn't hang on to it. It is what it is. I cannot sit there just thinking home run on the long, because I only had a small win on the short side of the trade. So it is in the money. It has come back a little bit. Am I getting greedy with it? I don't necessarily think so. 750 is also a round number. It's a decent level, and it's worth looking at. So I'm going to hold it all the way back to 750. I have not moved my stop up just yet on Tesla. And then just coming right back to SOS, it's still holding that 5 even. So, you know, it got right up to 5. There was one little wick above here, guys. You're going to see like a one tiny print that came above 501. That's never going to get me out with a stop order. If it does come back again and consolidate, worth a bit of a short, as long as I'm not getting crazy movement. We're hanging at 63,000. Unless there's crazy movement to the upside. If it prints 01s or 2s, I get out, I can now start thinking about reloading back in. Brendan?
Just had another volume alert, guys, on Bed Bath & Beyond. We talked about 24 early on, so we're back above 24, trying to break to the upside. Doesn't look like much. You can't even see it behind the position board there, but there was a volume alert back through 24.50 for BBBY, guys.
Yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond. Yeah, we are beyond trading that one today. We haven't done it yet, but Neil mentioned home runs, and we're going to step up to the plate now. I have, bang, there it is. Is that a foul ball? No, that's a good home run there. Yeah, rate upside now. We're still holding on to some Palantir, but it's only 5%. I'm just celebrating the win here. This was a big spot to get out, and so was this. So we did get some out at 25. That was a big part of it. And then we got out at 25.13 as well, right before VWAP. If you ever see a stock like this ripping to VWAP and things like that, that's like where I get out. Like, so, I mean, if it goes higher and I'm lucky enough to have some on like I do now, then that's fantastic. But generally speaking, and again, I always get comments on Twitter, on Instagram, things like that, that they say, thank you so much, not just for the trades, but for teaching, and that they've learned a lot off of what we're doing. And to me, that's really the big thing. So right here, you see this high, 25.15. So that's where, you know, we got out. It was ahead of VWAP. And I even talked about it when we were here. It was ahead of VWAP just before that number. So you did get a little bit of a dump there back in. So I was happy with that trade. Could have reloaded. I don't think we dipped down to 79. That doesn't make any sense. Could have reloaded back here around 25. That seems obvious for this break. But again, just to give you guys a little bit of an education there, that's where I dumped the majority at 25. And then we hold for that top. And now we're just free rolling right now with that. And we did reverse long into JP Morgan. We're flat on that stock today. I wish we were up on it, but we've had a couple missteps on JP Morgan. Not taking profit is the big one. If we did, then it would have been fine. I see someone over there with apparently not my sweater, but what's up, Valeria?
Hey, Sean. DraftKings is a popular name throughout whole morning. Stock is up around 2% following PGA news, guys.
Look, this stock, it's only up 2%. I know it's a solid move because it's been a little bit beaten up here, guys, but I don't know that this news is going to move the needle. Most of the time with DraftKings, at least lately, since it's been in the midst of this pullback, you just have not seen the follow through on some of these moves, and you do worry. It's certainly a concerning thing that some of the sectors that have given some money here to you guys, well, to a lot of people in the last quarter and the last half year as well, could see a bit of profit taking, and I would think that if we pressed any higher on DraftKings, it'd be that 62. You saw what happened a couple of days ago when we got to 62. It was just all kinds of trouble getting to that particular price. So yeah, it kind of lines up for a bit of a breakout. Maybe it gives you a bit of a muted move here, but I almost more think of that double top to be able to fade it during lunchtime, and that's like 60-60, guys. And when it comes to fading something, GameStop didn't stop. It got right up into that 156. There was trust me to tell you, there was absolutely no slowing down, just right through, do not pass go, do not collect $200, it just jammed. There's still lots of room, guys, because let's go right into this. Bottom at 165, top at 165. So you catch like a 160 break. I'll just wait around for 165 for that little bit of a turn. I really only plan on taking the short at this point on GameStop. That's what it's going to be for me, guys. Once you've missed out on that little bit of a long, if there was a huge level at 60, which there is not, when I pull up for you guys, you can hopefully see it here, guys. There is not a huge level at that 60 if we were ever to come up here. I'll put my scroll bar back on, but there wasn't much of a level at 60. Did a little bit of size there. I like 165 much, much better. There you go. You can see it. I'll let it sort of blow through that. Hopefully some people take that long through. It pushes up to 165, and then that's where I can sort of dig into that short trade if that's what I'm going to be able to get. SOS, I finally did it. And then said, okay, yeah, now that we're back below, we test 5 even. Let's let it break up to that price. It was whoever it was that was selling those shares in the low 90s that took a bunch. Were they covering along? I don't know. Were they getting into a short? I'm not going to play the guessing game. I just waited for it to test higher. If they decided to relieve some pressure, it failed, broke through 5 even, couldn't print anything but some free ones at 01s, I just jumped back into more shorts. I was willing to average into this when it was back here at like 10:30. It never gave me my price. It was a different set of conditions when it came into 5, so I waited for it to reverse off 5 even. So wait patiently to get the entry point. I'll do the same thing over in GameStop and Tesla, which I'm still holding, by the way. Now making another test at that, call it that 750 level. I mean, it hasn't really gotten to 750 even, but it's gotten very, very close. Coming all the way back in here, guys. If it bounces off of 751, that's the price I was waiting to average into. Looks like I have an actual shot at getting it at that 751. Original entry point at 752.70, as you can see on the board.
Okay, yeah, so I heard that question about DraftKings. Good job there. Palantir's coming back in. I'm still waiting for Coinbase. I don't know if we do have it. Apparently, reference price as I see 250, indicated 350. So we'll wait on Coinbase. Let's just check out the imbalance locator quickly on Coin. So now it's flipped to a buy. So there you go. So now you're 641,000 shares to the buy side here on Coin. So we'll wait to see what it does. For me, I haven't had much luck going long off the opening print. I'll do it now and see, but that one's been a rough ride for sure. On Coinbase, or on the opening prints. Like Roblox, if you look at Roblox opening print, remember Roblox was a direct listing as well. And then if you go to the daily chart, the opening print came out at 64.50 or 64.75, I believe it was. And then I actually lost on it. I think I took, this one I took a lot. I took like 3,000 shares, 2,500 shares off this one. And then look where it dropped, man. It dropped $5. It was funny because I didn't wind up losing that much considering the share size that we had there, but then it just ripped up, and thank God we were able to hold a little bit. So I'm sort of expecting. Someone said, Sean, what's your plan for Coinbase? I'll tell you, I'm sort of expecting something very similar to this, where we open up, we may get a little bump up. I mean, again, this is only a daily chart, so I don't have the exact play for you on Roblox, but we may open up a little bit. The thing is, as soon as it takes out that opening price, like this one just tanked down. Like that might not seem like a tank, but that's like 10%, right? So it does make a move to the downside. So if you have 1,000 shares of Coinbase or something and this thing opens up at 400, like 10% down is $40. So, I mean, if you have 1,000 shares there, that's 40 grand, isn't it? No, 1,000 shares, yeah, times $40. Yeah, so you're gonna lose 40 grand if the same kind of move happens. So again, just not to scare anybody off, trade your own book, but I just think that that's what could happen to Coinbase. It could retrace back down, and then there'll be an opportunity to play the bid again. So we'll wait to see what happens on Coinbase. We're super excited for it, so let's not get that twisted. We only have 25 minutes to go right now. We are back at 3:15, so if it doesn't open in the next 25 minutes, which I think it will, then we will be back at 3:15, and then you'll see. The thing about it, Neil, is they'll see our trades on the board, so we'll be able to at least discuss what we had off that play.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And I think, all of us are probably sitting there with an order out and then, got the level 2 up. Just because if it pops in, like, we've seen it before, right? It's like it doesn't open, and the next thing you know, it's like out of nowhere, we're trading in Coinbase. But the expectation usually is it has been historically closer to lunch. I did just get that average in Tesla. So, it sort of dipped down. It got up like 751.50. So not quite down to like 751 even. I look at these ranges, like, where am I going to scalp it? Yeah, pretty much the same price as before in front of that 755. And then this time, if it does get up to like 760, like I said, I should be taking some off in front of it. Take the $6 to $8 win instead of thinking we get plus 10, because 760 can then be its own breakout. If it shows enough strength here and the NASDAQ holds like that 13.9 area that we're basically at, I mean, you could probably trade the Qs as well, but I've been trading Tesla this morning, so that's what I'm going to go with. I just think that it's a good resistance point. I might as well just take it out if it gets to that particular price. So that's the plan for Tesla. It's not just because we're going to be looking over at Coinbase when it opens up, but that's part of the reason why I would slow down, not be looking to get into too many new trades, because I know that's the focus of attention that's going to come in. And if you plan on trading Coinbase, that's exactly what it should be. When you get the fill, if you get the fill, or when you plan to get a fill after the open, it should be the first thing that you happen to look at, and then immediately manage risk, because as Sean said, it's likely to move like, not $1 at a time. It's going to move 10, 15. I think even like a $50 pullback is what I'm sort of ready to have happen potentially if it opened up above 400, but it's opening at 350, so more along the lines of like a 25 to 30 is what I'd watch for. I have Spirit Airlines up just because the market falling here, and I'm looking at this like 37.75. I mean, it gets down below there, you might get a quick little breakdown style trade. So it's on the radar. It's been very, very strong all morning long, but if it can't hold this, you might see some profit taking in this name as well.
Okay, I thought I broke my pen. Actually, I did break my pen. Okay, see a pen. I don't need it anyways. Okay, so GameStop, we talked about that one. We'll hit the home run. We don't have the trade on, but we gave you, and I only crossed up 50 cents. I wasn't actually sitting here when it happened, but I did cross up. I came back, don't have it, and was like, what the hell? I saw the order go pending there, and you could see, I think this ripped $1. Like once, I don't know if you guys could tell me, did anybody get long on the chat there on GameStop? Because I put a bid in there, 155 up to 155.50, and never got filled, which kind of makes sense because look at the spread now. The spread now is 50 cents. I can't even imagine what it was when we broke that high of the day there, which was 155 right here. So missed opportunity there on that break. But yeah, okay, there goes GameStop to the upside.
Oh, good.
Definitely a missed one there. Brendan got something before us?
Just saw this AGC. We were talking about this AGC yesterday. It's the SPAC. They're taking that Grab public in a merger. That was a record SPAC merger announced yesterday. Just popped up on volume here. Back above 15 again for AGC.
All right, I just wanted to check back in on Coinbase. Okay, so nothing's happening there. Just wanted to see what it was. And then also the imbalance locator, just to see if we're getting near zero. Oh God, now it's 1.5 million to buy. This, I mean, in the next 20 minutes, this could pop. We don't know. Nothing happening on another show that I'm looking at now as well, that they would have something up if they thought it was getting any close right now. We are long. We did take a break long on JP Morgan there, and it went in the money for us about 30 or 40 cents. I do have an order up there now in case that does happen, but also I'm not going to let this thing break through 153. So it's coming back down now. No idea. We got sort of thrown around a little bit here on JP Morgan. And by thrown around, I mean, these are wins. We had to average into this one. Those are all wins again, back down to 152. That was that level that's kept holding that we have on our sticky note. And then we shorted here, took out again. Like these are 25s. We're out 90s. So that's 25s, 90s, 35 cents. And then here's the same play again. That's about 30 cents. We give up a little bit there. And then we busted out of that short. We had one last position on. We got out there for that's another 20-cent loser, and now we're long a little bit. So we'll wait to see if that does come through. But I mean, the big miss for me was on WFC.
It's a big miss everywhere.
Come on! It's WFC, guys.
Look how well it's holding up.
The only one, 40.25. The only one with a star on board, and we missed the damn trade as that just keeps on ripping up. I love you long time, WFC, just not today as I missed the trade, and I will be sick to my stomach.
Yeah, I'm not going to be sick with this one. So 165. We waited for GameStop to come through to that level. I talked about like not wanting the 160 and then waiting around. Showed you the 15-minute chart so you could see why. But I managed to grab some here, 164.50. Took 2 cracks at it. It was like immediately got in, got out because it didn't go, and then jumped right back into the trade here. So I did scalp some out there for like the just over $2 win. And then of course looking for the rest of this cluster. Right, it's between 157.5 and 160. Once it breaks into that range, I get out. I don't care about halts down. I don't care about any of that stuff. I like to scalp trade GameStop. Again, holding against the grain when it's upward move. That's not my style. Averaging in over and over again. I'm not going to be doing that in GameStop. I mean, I guess there's other traders that have that look, and if it works for you, you do what works. Now, Tesla gave me that scalp trade again, so instead of 52s to 55s, it's 51s up into like 54, so we take it off again. This time, we just cracked 13.9 on the NASDAQ, so we are breaking the low. There's no more average into the Tesla long. If it breaks 750, I'll now just wait around. This is why I was sort of scalping out each time. If it stays in the range, you can't break out. Couldn't get close to VWAP, so I held on for the bigger winner. Now if it breaks the 50s, I just get out of it and walk. Of course, what did I do? What did I say? Neil, you do this every single time. Get the math absolutely wrong. You get into a short you don't want and have to take it right out in Tesla. So I'm a Waterloo grad, and that's like literally, that's like the math school here.
I was going to say,
so
Neil.
it's pretty bad. I just said, this time not going to average in. My stop was still for the original long size. So once I get profit, I have to reconsider and then sort of reprice the stop. I didn't do so. Now, if I'm waiting for 735 to 740, does it mean that shorting what I just had there off a 750 break could have been a good trade? Yeah, it could be. But I didn't want it, so I'm not going to hold it. So it is what it is, guys. I get quickly in and out of that one fast. So we're going to be up on Tesla. It's a good stock for me. GameStop is still going, but remember, I'm holding for a little bit bigger of a move on the pullback. I've already scalped a couple of bucks. I'm looking for more. Brendan?
Just seeing an update from Health Canada here, guys, on the vaccine front. Nothing about Johnson & Johnson, but they are talking about AstraZeneca here. Health Canada saying they're reviewing their previous guidance that was to restrict AstraZeneca's vaccine use to 55 and older in this country. So they're saying the potential risks of these blood clots don't outweigh the benefits that could come. So they're reviewing that decision and might open it up to everyone. So AZN, guys.
Is that what that was? They might open up to everybody? Okay, well, that would be good if that's a possibility there. As Canada becoming like an international joke as far as the vaccine rollout is concerned. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. What are we, the fifth largest city in North America, and we can't get our thumb out of our... Okay.
You can say it.
Wells Fargo just continues to rip up. You can honestly, no nice words to say about that one. But we do have some nice words to say about JP Morgan as it's coming back upside. I was going to, so I talked about it earlier. I mean, I'm long $80, or sorry, not $80. I'm long 95, 96, 97, 98, sub 100 on JPM. And I was going to take some out today, thinking that we were going to go, into the depths of hell with JP Morgan, but that's not happening at all today. JP Morgan continues to make moves to the high side, believe it or not. I thought we opened up down about 1.5% and we've battled back. So good on you, JPM, especially since the NASDAQ obviously has nothing to do with NASDAQ, but the ES also just turning positive. Like, here's the ES right now, doing absolutely nothing all day. And I think that's helped JP Morgan. The fact that it's not, the market's pretty flat, doesn't know what it wants to do. I believe everybody waiting for Coinbase. And is it the largest IPO ever? Not even close, but it is a big one coming out today, and it's a direct listing, so that changes the game a little bit on that talk. DraftKings was a great long earlier. We talked about that one. I'm wondering here, I think you can start buying some AMD. Some people were asking about our longer term portfolios. AMD is in mine, and it's a pretty strong one. It's not the strongest. The strongest are the big boys in tech, and I talk about that all the time. But here we go. It's basing out like really low today on AMD. I'm wondering what, oh yeah, that's right. I got to clear the daily chart. I'm wondering if that's something to do with NVIDIA. Let's just have a quick look at NVIDIA first. Okay, so it's just flat today. 621, we did get as high as 630 or so yesterday, and then again this morning off open. But right now, these semis kind of not doing anything. Looks like all the action, again, is going to be in FinTech with Square. Check back on that before I go back to Neil here. Square, yeah, okay. I like, big moves down. I don't know. This is going to be a strange one.
It makes sense.
I'm getting nervous now about Coinbase. I do have my bid in there, but I'm a little bit weary here. Are we at the top right now of this sort of crypto craze? It makes a hell of a lot of sense, and congratulations to Coinbase coming out when we're really at all-time highs now for crypto. It makes a lot of sense now. Not that they predicted that. They were always going to come
They're part
out.
of the reason.
But, I mean, there's a reason for you right there. I just wonder if we're getting top heavy. It's like the marijuana game, right? The minute that Canada started legalizing it back in October of 2018, I believe it was, that's where everything started to go down. So we're going to take a shot
Maybe
here
for
on
good day
Coinbase,
trades.
but yeah, I'm not as excited right now. And you guys seen what the marijuana stocks have done. Basically a big WT.
I don't think it'll be that bad, but I mean, you got to be watching out for it. You got to be ready for the dip buy. There's a small part of me, like I got out of the rest of that GameStop at break even. Now, look, when I hit that first target, I just sort of mentioned, like I said, 157.50 to that 160. I wanted it into that target range, then maybe it could break in and bounce at the bottom. So now it looks like GameStop was a little stronger than that. It bounced off the top end of that range, which if that happens, breaks in and comes out, doesn't fill me, or bounces off 160, I go break even stop. I don't give it to the high of the day. If you give it to the high of the day, it breaks it by 15 pennies, and I lose an extra $1 for no reason. Could I jump back into the trade? Maybe, but there is a part of me that just doesn't want to be in GameStop when Coinbase could open up. And it just, I don't know, it just feels like that would be a bit of a reckless play. I'm left in a couple of buyouts that really don't do too much of anything. And then, of course, I still have VTVT. And there's stocks, like I said, the stock is not doing anything. It just sits in the money. I shorted in the pre-market and been holding it ever since. And that was a look. Like one of those worked out, VTVT, GALT, which is the other end of that train. You know, that's going to be my worst stock of the day is going to be GALT. And it's going to take me out. When I average into it, like I had first short was good. Second short probably started a little bit too early and averaged into it at the top, and then it broke the high. I make the top there. That's one of those where if I'm into it, I kind of know when it makes a move off the open to the downside and then tests and breaks this 265 area finally, you could just hold on to it all day long, right? So that's what I'm looking to do in one of those. And that's why you can trade multiple stocks at the same time, because something like this, once it's in the money and consolidating down, you're managing a position. You know the price area that you like. You have some targets to the downside. There's not a heck of a lot to do except collect the money as it comes in. Tesla, like I said, you have to follow your rules. One of those for me, if I make an accidental entry point, I get out of it right away. It is what it is. You're going to sort of see it just sort of come in and out at that 750. It's continuing to flush down. If we get to 735, which I guess is looking like it's a potential thing that could happen here, that 735 to 740 area, that's where I'd look to pick some up over on Tesla, as long as we're not doing anything too crazy. If that happens simultaneously to Coinbase, well, I probably won't be in Tesla because that's what I'll be looking at. Brendan?
Yeah, another update for everyone. Yeah, a couple of people talking about 351. That is what I now see as well. So 351 on the indication, guys.
Guys, oops, we did it again. Oh, we didn't get any 88s there? Oh, I thought we got 88s. No, we did not. Okay, so we're offering 88s right now again. Shout out to Britney, free Britney Spears. There it is, guys. Nice little move to the upside there. We just took another long. Shout out to everybody, basically. Shout out to you, Kevin. Shout out to everybody else that was telling me all about Palantir coming back in. You know that we play that one like a fiddle. And there it is again today, which is a big move to the downside. And we just took some more shares and just got out for another dime. So there it is, man. Just right now, this is what's basically happening on Palantir for me. There it is. Falling back, and I love that animation there, Robbie. That's one of my favorite ones. You guys like the money one. I like that one too, but for right now, Palantir. And again, this is the thing. The call, demo day, I don't know if the call is going on right now. Maybe it is, Brendan.
It's supposed to start at 11.
But yeah, we could find, it started 11. Okay, so there you go. So
supposed to anyways.
So probably starting right now. We're not holding this one. We're going to wait for 24.50. If that breaks, I am not getting into anything more here for Palantir. We'll wait to see. I mean, that's going to be a little bit of a lie. I will take this down here, 60 again. If we can get 60s, that's fine. But we're going to drop it off at 50. This is not, I repeat, you guys have been following me on Palantir. This is a no-fly zone. We are happy to get out there. It didn't, you know, the time goes on there. We're talking about Coinbase. With the NASDAQ coming off right now, I don't like to average into this one. We will take one more shot, though, on an average. We're pretty light here. We are going to wait for this one. If it comes in, then we get out at 24.50, but there's no way in hell we're risking even a portion of our day on this one. We'll risk small. We'll put like 10% in to this name. So if you're up $1,000 on the day, I would risk about $100 on this play, nothing more, because if it goes back to the upside, you could make that 200. So I think it's definitely worth it right now on PLTR. It's his neighborhood. What's up, Brandon?
I was just going to check the imbalance locator, but they're coming fast and furious now. I just put 352 up. As I was doing that, 355 pops up. So climbing higher, guys.
Climbing higher, not climbing higher, just watching a NEO here, because after Tesla broke at 750, making fresh lows at 43, 44, but NEO held the bottom at 37.30 here. So if you sort of follow the line that sometimes one stock follows the other, I mean, NEO tends to follow along here. If it can show any kind of a bounce, and if Tesla were to get back to 750 and you're looking at that same low that you could defend, and we're talking 37 quarter, 37.50, that 25 penny area, I would like NEO in that particular range. This is not the time to overtrade. And as I say that, that's an anticipation. It's anticipation of something that hasn't happened yet. Like Tesla is still pressing to the downside. It's more along the lines of, hey, if we can get a chance to pick up NEO after Tesla's already bounced at a good price, why not go ahead and do that? It just makes a heck of a lot of sense to me, guys. So that's one thing I will look for. We were trading GameStop. I gave you guys levels, gave you guys a bit of a plan of action. I said once I got that first leg out, would it be a good re-entry point? Yeah, I probably should have thought about that same thing when it double top, but it got me the rest out for flat. So it's going to be a winning trade. I just couldn't get with the whole notion of jumping right back into the same price when I kind of feel like Coinbase will happen soon. I know what'll happen. We'll get burned. The thing will open up at like 1:30 in the afternoon, which makes absolutely no sense that it would take that long to organize it. Everybody knew exactly what day it was going to be. How hard can it be to organize your opening orders and get everything a lockstep? I don't want to have both of these at the same time, but if GameStop holds 160, I'd say through lunchtime and through the Coinbase Open, it doesn't break down. I have to think there's going to be another break to the upside there. And, so I would look out for that one. Maybe we'll be catching that in the 315 show. For those of you guys that don't know, this better be right. No, my coming up did not work. Let's try it again. No, it's a Q&A. Of course, I made the same mistake you made there, Sean. The Q&A, which I think the after show was number, whatever. We're live at the close at 3:15. I'm pretty sure everyone's gonna be looking at Coinbase. Do not sleep on the moves that Palantir have had. There's no chance I'll be sleeping on GameStop when it's up 15%. The close in the last hour is usually very, very good and interesting on the stock. And I don't care what direction it goes. I'm willing to play it in either way. I've been shorting it only here, but I sort of gave you a bit of a bull case just in case at lunchtime it holds the 160 level.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be very, very interesting, and you're going to come back at 3:15, and we will go over. So this is the thing. Like, even if you're at work, just open up YouTube on your phone, right? If you get fired, you get fired. It's fine. Watch us at 3:15 because we will go over what's been happening on Coinbase and how we traded it. You'll see our little ticks come in there, and hopefully we get a print. That's about all. Well, we'll get a print, but hopefully it opens up. Maybe it opens up in the next 5 minutes. I think it will, so we'll wait to see. Okay, Palantir, there's the last finito. We will take our last. I don't think we have a line. I mean, there was a line in the sand, but I don't know. We'll just hope that it moons. So there it is. We'll just go a rocket launch here for Palantir. It didn't wick up to 80 there, and if it did, I would have got some out, so I don't think it did. But we'll wait to see now, taking this level and just using, honestly, this 50 as our out. We'll get out a little bit lower than 50, but we're going to use that as our out there. I like the level. We'll just see what comes through with it right now off of this Palantir move in the NASDAQ. And again, I just feel like as Coinbase gets closer, more like money's coming out, getting ready to go back into it. So that's been my philosophy this whole time. I did want to check back on Facebook. It's just been going downside all day, down 2%. We did talk about that 308.50 short. I don't have it on board. As soon as this broke, I started putting orders in. But you could see even before the market opened, we were at 307.50 and it never came back up. Normally, you do get a little bit of a bump up there. We never got it. So unfortunately, we're unable to do this. I would have got out. Like I probably would have held a little bit to here. 306 would have made sense to me. And then this little base would have got me out. So there's no way I'd be short. I should have shorted right there, 304 break. Other than that, man, it's been a fun show. We only have 5 minutes left. We're still waiting on coin. I'll show you quickly the imbalance locator. It's not here. Uh-oh. There it is. We may open
tiny.
soon.
It's tiny
It's the smallest it's ever been right now. Still on the buy side and shrinking. Like, this is getting close to zero. So to me, when that is zero, and like Neil said, like, how hard is it? There's no more orders. So just like, you've already done the work on 6 million shares. Get this last hundy done, and let's open up Coinbase. Let's go.
Brendan.
Yeah, a couple more minutes, guys. I'm just going to mention that paired volume, though, is pretty low still, 5.6. Hopefully we get it open. I was just going to mention at 355, that equates to 98 billion on the valuation, guys. Do we want to do earnings here, guys? We can have a look at what's coming up both aftermarket and before the open tomorrow. More good things to talk about tomorrow.
Well, I mean, you're going to get Pepsi, but Citibank, Citi, and of course Bank of America round out some more of the banking space, which I know is going to be in play. You guys look at TSM, going to be up, TSMC going to be up there. I mean, Delta, we've been playing a little bit of the airlines as well. United Health, that's sort of a lot of times a boring stock, but a nice little interesting healthcare name. I think the focus is going to be, honestly, day two of Coinbase. Some of the things that got sold off here today, Sean, I think some of those are going to be in play. Maybe more so than caring as much about the banks on day two. At least that's the case for me. I look at the sell-off that happened, like your Squares, and not too much in PayPal, only 2%, but I kind of very, very interested to see after today's action what will happen tomorrow in some of those names, maybe above earnings. And thank goodness I didn't dig back into GameStop. That just took off the high again.
Thank God we dig back into Palantir, and we keep talking about the same name. But there's UNH. If they miss, watch out. They're already at a huge level right here, 380. We could break out through 385. Okay, here's Palantir. Oops, right here. So we just picked up some 57s. We talked about that. Look at my last couple pickups, 67, 62, 56. You see where the average price is, 67. So now we'll see if we can get back to the upside. We're now in the money on Palantir. So, hey, we're doing it again. It's making us some cash. I'm loving life right now. It's been a great show. I'm at 73. Oh, we didn't get it. Did we get it? Let's go 73. Let's go. Let's see if we can take 6 cents. There it is. So anyways, more high side now, but you just see what's happening here on Palantir. And now that we take some out right there, like my average price is 65. If it breaks 50, it's a 15-cent hit on not a whole hell of a lot of shares, as we'll continue to dump them out here. If I can get out at 80s, that would be sick right now. And we are in the money now. That's 7 or 8 cents, guys. With only 3 minutes left. I like UNH. It doesn't matter. We're coming back at 315, so we'll go over everything right now. Then we'll go over there. GE, break the support. I see you talking about that there, Ted. Let's go over to GE quickly here as we see 1360. Okay, I like that for GE. I've been long this name for a while there since that 10 break. That was a good one. So now you're up to 1360 on GE. I remember buying this name when Warren Buffett was in his bathtub taking on BAC shares at $5. If you look at that story back there in 2008, I bought GE that day. I think my cost on GE is like $4 or $5 as well. That whipped all the way to 20 though. GE's just back down now. It's a sad stock for a while. They were going to do that 9-for-1 split. I don't know what happened there, but I know what's happening right now. Bang! We punch Palantir in the face again. Like, how much money are we supposed to make on this name? I don't care how much money we make, because as long as we're winning, that's all that matters to me. Well, I do matter on profits, but I can see that now. So we're at our highest spot we've been at all day. It's only 2.5 times right now, daily goal. Yesterday we were at 7.5 times. So a little bit of a struggling day, but we'll take that, man. When you're double your goal and a little bit more, we'll take that. And look how great Palantir's been today. So it's been a great show. Only a minute and a half left. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we'll get
I don't
coin,
think we're getting it.
But it's right now. There it is. Like, oh, now it's back up. Now it's, where is it? Okay, 70. Okay, 75,000 right now on coin. So maybe we're getting close. Either way, guys, we'll be back at 315.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know how it goes. GameStop continues to run, guys. So I mean, you can see I made money on it short, but had a very particular plan. I got out of my VTVT. I mean, look, it finally broke down towards 3, even broke the floor. I'm like, whatever. I'd rather be as close to flat as possible and trade things that aren't moving. When I think Coinbase is going to be opening up, and put all my focus there. If it does give that 350, I'm sort of thinking about maybe like somewhere in the neighborhood of like if it breaks down like 8 to 10%, that kind of a pullback is where I'd sort of be digging in. If it doesn't make that initial push, like if it opens at like 55 and can't immediately hold like the first support, I'd probably just cover and then look to buy back much lower than that, thinking that there's a lot of people that are going to take some profit on Coinbase, and they're looking to do so. And if the cracks start to open up, I'd be more prepared as a day trader to buy the dip and sort of load up at the highest possible price if it does initially flush. It has been a sort of a whirlwind of a show, and we're right back at it at 3:15 for you guys. A couple of things before we get out of here. There was some interesting earnings, but we also got to go to Miss V, who was still cold apparently.
Well, Neil, I'm already warm because Trader TV Live hoodie is really nice. Guys, thank you very much for spending this trading morning with us. I wish you luck with Coin IPO. Please stay patient and join us at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time to sum it up and trade the close together. Happy National Pecan Day, everyone.
Pecans. I like a good pecan. I mean, pecan pie is where it's at, guys. But whatever, we can go with that one. It is Coinbase Day. I think you guys all know that. Of course, we'll get it to you for sure. Review all of the trades at 3:15 when we come back for you. That's what it's all about. That's what we try to do. We would have loved to trade it for you live, but the NASDAQ can't seem to get this one open here for us. It is what it is. We're all sort of shaking our heads at it because this is the new norm. For the entire team, Ms. V, looking fantastic in that sweater. I have the sleeves rolled up, literally. It's not that cool. For my man Chongatina as well. For Brendan Wickens, I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. We'll see you back at the close. Bye, guys.